Did you see this yet? Yes, I started the broadcast with this.
Live.
Fox News gave me the greatest aura edit, dude. It's awesome. I love when they do that. It's so sick. Here, you know what? Fuck it. Let's run it again.
Live from Texas, this is the Will Cain Show. Democrats have a new kingmaker. He's the visionary of the left. He's the visionary of Democratic Socialists. And it's his party, Piker's party. And that party has an invite list. And he has a vision. Not just as who should be elected to office, but as to the future of the Democratic Socialist of America. When asked a very interesting question about what he would add to the platform, here's what he said about the future of the DSA.
Arrest and prosecute and bring about corruption charges for every prominent member of this administration that is engaged in corruption. Prosecute and arrest ICE agents that have also done crimes as well on the job.
Bring out the secret police.
I love that they're just... I'm serious. I love that they just openly are like, well, he wants to arrest people who are being corrupt in the Trump administration. That's really fucked up. Like, this is the beauty of having a good platform. And I need you guys to understand this. Like, this is exactly what I mean. When you have a good platform, when you have moral convictions, and when you stand by your moral convictions in an uncompromising manner, Republicans have to position themselves as antagonistic to what you are saying. And they end up coming across like fucking idiots. Okay? I want law and order, bitch. I want law and order. Okay? What kind of country are we living in if all of our corrupt elites can steal from us every damn day with no punishments? With no penalties? I don't want to live in a country like that. We're going to make those changes. We're going to make sure that we live in a country that believes in law and order. Okay? It's that simple, folks. In any case, so yesterday, we'll start off here. Yesterday, I got ambush journalismed by Channel 4. We're going to start our story and our journey with that moment. This is right after the Abdul Al-Sayed press scrum. Okay? Shots fired by Representative Haley Stevens, who just called out Abdul Al-Sayed for campaigning with the Sound Piker. I do think some of this stuff makes people uncomfortable. Frankly, it makes me uncomfortable. Okay. I mean, what can I say to that, man? I just like, I like that their closing message is literally, no, this is, I'm going to be honest with you. This is exactly what happened with Zohran Mamdani. Okay? This is exactly what happened with Zohran Mamdani. They're trying to tank it for the general. And if they can't tank Abdul for the general, they're just trying to take out, like, you know, a surrogate, like a media person, right? This is the AIPAC dive bomb, as I like to call it. Where, if you guys recall, when Andrew Cuomo first tested this out and it failed spectacularly for him, I had two different mindsets on this, where my initial assessment was, why? Why me? I'm a random dude. Nobody knows who I am, you fucking idiot. The people who know me are already voting for Zohran, and the people that don't know me don't care that you're bringing me up as like a prescient point, and the people that know me and don't like me are never voting for Zohran anyway. So what's really interesting about this is that was a failure. And then it was tried again in this exact race, as a matter of fact. It was tried by Mallory McMorrow. And when she did it, her campaign fell apart. This was a turning point for this race. It was a sleepy, although still a very nationally significant race, it was a sleepy race initially, until the national media came down hard on the race after everybody consolidated around the Fuck Hassan and Fuck Abdul campaign. The media started making these attack ads. All of a sudden, it turned into a whole ordeal. And in the aftermath of that, Abdul went from third place to first place pretty much overnight. Diana DeGette attempted to do this every single race that we have been a part of. They've tried to do it over and over again. But what was really interesting, I want to go back to the Abdul, not the Abdul story necessarily, but the Zohran story. When they did that initially, I was wondering, like, is this the byproduct of a super online campaign? Or are they just attacking me because they know they're going to lose. So we might as well take out like a valuable media guy. A valuable media guy in the process, like a valuable for the left, right? I genuinely think at this point, I don't know if it's an act of desperation, it's a final act of desperation, or if it's just what AIPAC is paying for. AIPAC's like, look, you couldn't fucking take him out. We're going to go to Mike Rogers and the general, but you might as well do us a favor on the way out and just hit this Hassan guy, this Hassan piece of shit, you know? Room service is here. Okay, hold on. 1 second. But yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like they're just maybe they're just their last goal here, their last opportunity here is like, we're lost the race anyway. We might as well take out the second best thing. I don't know. Like, it feels crazy. But nowadays, it feels crazy, but maybe that's the case. Like, maybe that's the goal. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Because, like, why would you do this? Why would you do this when it's been a failure every time? Why would you do this on the last day? What is happening? My family is so crazy. Stop calling me. Oh my God, what is happening? Yeah, I guess maybe it's a panic alt. Who knows? Is Jonathan Greenbald? He's pulling the strings. You're his white whale. I don't know. But yeah, Haley Skolton and their closer is literally, Hassan is a communist. He's dangerous. He's fucking asshole, piece of shit. Hate him. He's creepy guy. Please vote for me. Don't vote for Hassan Piker. I don't know. I guess that's their argument. Their argument is like, please don't vote for Hassan Piker. And people are like, who's Hassan Piker? Okay, I won't vote for Hassan Piker. You know? But yeah, from Ferndale, Oakland County, Progressive Town, Good Morning America. People are here trying to get a balanced set of interviews, and they literally can't find a Stevens voter to put in. Haley Stevens represents Ferndale in Congress. They've had 400 people voted so far on election day across 2 precincts polling locations so far. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, look at this. At a Haley Stevens event in Traverse City, when the former Senator Debbie Stabenow was tasked with the role of attack dog, she described Twitch streamer and Al-Qaeda supporter Hassan Piker as probably the biggest anti-Semite in the media. The jab barely registered with the attendees. Yeah, people who know Hassan don't agree with the depictions, and most people have no idea who he is. It's such a terminally online bad focus by the consultant and campaign staff giving Stevens advice. It's actually so strange. Is the entire consultant staff, are they all are they all weirdo Twitter heads that came from like the Lib and Learn podcast or something? Like, because these aren't necessarily big communities, right? These aren't necessarily like large audiences, but I guess like the only people that watch them, like all 35 work for every campaign so far. Is that what it is? Because this kind of shit is so insanely out of touch. I don't understand it. I'm giving free ball at this point. You're only helping me when you do this. You're only helping me, you fucking idiots. Why are you burning social and political capital attacking a fucking Twitch streamer? You don't understand. In this day and age, when a person in a position of power lowers themselves to the realm of Twitch streamers, the average person doesn't respond positively to that. It would be the equivalent of like yelling about clavicular. What's Abdul El Sayed's take on clavicular? Is he pro looks maxing? Is he against? You're talking to 75-year-olds. What the fuck is wrong with you? And it's crazy because it's like, you're also, not only are you lying about me, but you're lying about me in a way that also doesn't really translate well to an audience. Unless you are, not even in all synagogues, right? But like a very ultra Zionist synagogue. You're not going to get the whole like Hassan is an anti-Semite. He's the biggest anti-Semite thing to actually bang. At least in my experience. Most people don't know who the fuck I am. And the people that know who the fuck I am are either like Fox News watchers or people who get like freaked out from articles that they read at the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, Jewish Insider, and like they word of mouth that they hear from people about the dangers of growing anti-Israel sentiment directed by this guy. But there aren't that many people at your demographic, at your age group that you're trying to target that know who the fuck I am. And the ones that know who the fuck I am that don't like me are already voting for you. They're already voting for you because they are getting it from Hasbara papers. Like, they're not getting this information from anything else. So I just don't understand why, like, we went from the mayoral race to now numerous congressional district races where I became like a big fucking flashpoint. And now officially we're at motherfucking Senate. We're at the Senate race. And let's be real, in 2028, like, I'll just say it, it's going to be a fucking issue in 2028 in the presidential. I'm just getting you guys ready for it already. Like, one example I will give you is like Roger Stone, right? Roger Stone is a hatchet man. He's been around since the Nixon days. He got Nixon tattooed on his back, right? He works directly with campaigns. He gets paid by campaigns to work with campaigns, right? He's a much more notorious figure. And if you thought a way to attack Donald Trump would be to say like, oh, Donald Trump is hanging out with Roger Stone, this is fucking crazy. How dare you? That would be a stupid line of attack. That would be a stupid line of attack against Trump. There's a million things you can yell about with Trump. Right? Like, think, I'm using boomer terminology that your stupid fucking campaigns can maybe comprehend. I'm using shit that boomers care about, like Richard Nixon and Roger Stone. I'm trying to analogize this more adequately for your stupid fucking boomer brain to comprehend. Putting me at the forefront of your attack ads is not going to work. You are a fucking idiot. You are paying fucking idiots. You look extremely out of touch. You look extremely online. I can't believe a 35-year-old Twitch streamer has to literally tell you this, but you are stupid for doing this. I'm not saying this out of self-preservation. As a matter of fact, keep it coming because it's literally good for me, okay? This has direct downstream positive consequences for me because your politics are repulsive. People hate what you represent. So when, as a toxic establishment Democrat figure, you come down and say, this guy, this young guy, relatively young, 35, I'm getting up there, but this relatively young guy who's dynamic, who's very clearly activating the youth, who's driving youth turnout, who's getting people excited to go out and door knock in a fucking Senate primary of all things during the midterms, right? Not even the general election, not even the presidential election. We're talking about a Senate primary, okay? That is unheard of for so many people. So when you look at a person like that and you say, this guy's my fucking op, you aren't going to win any favors, okay? No one is going to understand what you're trying to do. No one is going to look at that and go, wow, like this guy's a real fucking danger, man. This guy's real crazy. No one knows who I am. I'm irrelevant. And if you just like frame this as like this unbelievably, that I'm this unbelievably negative character, I guess in the long run, my disapprovals will go up. Obviously, on the Republican side, they are maxed out pretty much at this fucking point. On the Democrat side, there will be a significant chunk of disapproval as well. And I guess that's the point. They can't take out Abdul, so they have to do everything in their power to make sure that, like, I don't do what I've been doing again and again and again. The problem for all of you is that I'm a fucking psycho, okay? I'm an unbelievably stubborn person. So if you think this is going to discourage me, you're fucking wrong. I'm super hard-headed. Okay? So it doesn't work. And all you will have done in the process is put me in front of more people. And all it will take to fix that would be for any of these electeds to come out and be like, no, that's my fucking guy. Shut the fuck up. You guys are lying about him. Now, we're not going to do that while the elections are happening. Okay? But that's not a tough thing to solve. Okay? That's not a tough thing to solve. I'll be the fucking sin eater. Okay? I'll be the sin eater. Not many want to be in the crosshairs like this. I don't give a shit. Okay? I have my moral convictions and I'm unbelievably stubborn and I've always been steadfast. So go ahead. Make me the fucking sin eater of every campaign. I'll tank it. I'll tank it. What a stupid way. What a stupid fucking way to run elections. I can't believe it, dude. I have some progressive Bernie crap family members who are really triggered by your suit and stuff, but they still support the campaigns you support. All these negative coverage is probably having an effect on your personal brand, but somehow not the campaigns. Maybe they think you are a necessary evil. Wait, that's all over the place. So the Bernie crats don't like me now because I wear a suit? What the fuck are you talking about? What? They're Bernie crats, and now they don't like me anymore because of the suit? What a strange thing. I mean, look, all I'll say is this. If you're a Bernie crat, if you're an actual progressive, if you like any of these candidacies, AOC, Zoran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Abdul Al-Sayed, Cory Bush, Chris Rabb, but you still turn around and you're like, but fuck that Hassan guy, you're a fucking idiot, okay? You've been duped. It's fine. But you're a fucking idiot nonetheless. That's all I'll say. Someone has to anchor this fucking movement to a certain degree. We have to light a fire. We have to, galvanize. We have to embolden. We have to harden our support. Someone has to do the agitative propaganda. And that person who sticks their fucking head out, that person is always going to get punished. So it's up to you to look at that punishment and say, I know what this is. This is bullshit. I know what this guy fucking believes. Or it's up to you to say, no, I'm actually a dumb fucking sheep moron who saw all of the negative coverage and got duped by it. Okay, well, next time you'll get duped for another candidate too. Anyway, be smarter. Do you like the policies? Do you like the campaign? Do you like the vision? Do you like the movement? When have our enemies ever let us get away scot-free? Why would power ever concede without demand or struggle? Power never concedes without struggle. And a part of that struggle is going to be attack ads. A part of that struggle is going to be disparaging people who are effective communicators of this movement. That's part of the reason why, for example, when Francesca Hong is getting yelled at because she's like, I think Thanksgiving is not the best or whatever, I let that brush past me. I'm like, who gives a fuck? What is she going to do for people in Wisconsin? That's what I care about. Don't get fucking duped by the opposition. Okay? Talking big shit for a Mayo tie. This is a very important tie for me. A Hasanabi head. Native American Hasanabi had made this for me, and I'm going to read you guys the actual like the symbolism of the tie, because this is a Thunderbird. Okay, this was indigenous beadwork made by a Hasanabi head. I got this in Wisconsin. Okay, and I want to read to you guys the symbolism of it, because this is a Thunderbird. Thunderbirds are supposed to be protective, and it's in Palestine colors, obviously, because of the dual struggle and the similarities between Native Americans and also Palestinians, who obviously are currently experiencing genocide. And there were some more details I wanted to read, but let me see. And the feather is also very important. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. One second. Nope, that's not the right one. Okay, so just wanted to give a little information about the significance of the design on the tie that I didn't get to fully explain in person in case Hassan wanted to know or if someone asked about it. I forgot to thank him for everything he does and everything I've learned from him. The bird is a thunderbird, which in Ojibwe culture are powerful spirits of the sky realm that are seen as protectors of our people and bringers of thunderstorms. They are depicted as giant birds whose wings make the sound of thunder and eyes make the flashes of lightning. I wanted to combine a part of my culture and solidarity with Palestine as I can see the similarity in our struggles and our story. So that's why I chose the colors and added the flag in the center. The eagle feather is also a sacred symbol to our people, representing strength and honor. I thought the idea a couple of months back when he first brought up Francesca's race in the slight hope he may come to Wisconsin eventually. It was fortuitous when that girl made that TikTok about his suit fashion and mentioned the indigenous beading idea, and that's when I wanted to make the second fully beaded tie I mentioned but couldn't finish in time. Maybe we'll cross paths once again one day in the future and I can gift him the second tie. Aw. That's beautiful. So yeah, that's why I'm wearing it today. That's why I wanted to hold off. I didn't want to wear it the first day that I first got it. And it happens to work because I have the fucking Colonel Sanders suit. I don't want to generalize. I still don't understand them. Maybe it goes to show why we need a political org like DSA to do political education. I think people do not understand socialism, communism, the revolutionary leaders, etc. But I still understand you're on their side. I think this may be a bigger issue down the line. Okay. Anyway. CNN comments agreeing with you. Oh, CNN posted it. Yeah. Controversial streamer Hassan Piker. Numerous left-wing voices are calling for a disruption of the status quo. Why should we listen to a man who said America deserved 9/11? He gets all the privilege, blah, blah, blah. There is genuinely an alarming anti-Semitism rising. Oh, God. Hassan actually does an effective job of shepherding young disaffected men from that pipeline, which will scapegoat Jewish people. Oh, shit. Never mind. Cooked. The establishment of the party needs to understand that status quo is not the way to go anymore. Progressives need to understand that the base of the party doesn't just consist of them. The base is very much minorities, yes. Moderate suburban voters as it is. Progressive voters, if you can't pick up a strong amount of those three types of voters, you will lose. Okay, that's not wrong. Lots of liberal tears in here, assuming that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, playing directly into the narrative the big Yahoo and Likud are spreading, tying the idea that criticizing Israel is criticizing and demonizing Jews. Haley Stevens' final message to her staff. When are you going to wear your Jeb Bush tie? Soon. But we got to win it. We got to wear a winner's tie today and not a fucking loser's tie. You're so popular, you're becoming a meme on Insta. Oh, yeah, I saw this. James Carville and John Fetterman have confirmed they will leave the Democratic Party if Hassan Piker continues to help progressives candidates win. Oh, no, steak too juicy, lobster too buttery. Anyway, so this was crazy from yesterday. This crazy fan followed me to Michigan for the Abdul El-Sayed race. Oh, damn, I didn't realize this was like a big deal to people not in Michigan. I'm voting in person tomorrow. I hope our state doesn't mess this up. Oh, my God, you're in my state. Hot girls voted early. Why won't you wear the Jabussi? Because I don't want to. The Jabussi tie is a loser tie because he lost. And I don't want to wear the loser aura on me. I don't want to have that loser aura on me anywhere. Dude, I am a very. Okay. I'm a very logical person. But I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a very logical person, but I also have like a little bit of. What is it called? Like suspicion? Like not suspicion. What's the term for it? I'm forgetting it right now. I can't even think. Superstition. I'm a superstitious person. I'm a little bit superstitious. I don't know. Like, I don't let it get to like a OCD level, but I like to, wear the same rings and, do the same things that I do in order to like bring about the same like fortuitous results. Maybe I'm not superstitious. Maybe I'm a little stitious. It's not super. But I am stitious. I'm a little stitious. Anyway, a little bit stitious. It's called autism, brother. Not everything is autism just because I'm autistic. Which I'm not. Guys, I am very, very neurotypical. I am the beacon of neurotypicality. I'm at the tip of I put the tip in neurotypical. Okay? It's crazy. Oh. Crazy people are out here saying you're neuroatypical. It's wrong. Okay. But yeah, I'm a hardcore materialist, a dialectical materialist. I don't know where the superstition feeds into that equation, but It's there. It's a little there. Is this brigaded or CNN Facebook liberals actually Nazis? You know what's crazy? Fox News comments, whenever I get blasted on Fox News, are like Republicans being like, I love this guy. You know, he's a commie, but he hates Israel like I do. I think I might vote for the Democrats. And then the Democratic Party boomer comments are like, we should kill this dude. Like, we should kill him. He sucks. What is happening? Every time there's like a Fox News Facebook post, the comments are like, I've never voted for a Democrat, but if they're going to be the America First Party, I might do it. And then they post a CNN hit on Facebook, and all the comments are like, yeah, this guy needs to be murdered. We should probably make it illegal to be him. I'm a lifelong liberal, by the way. It's the Facebook algorithm. Lefties get pushed right-wing shit and right-wings get pushed left-wing shit. I don't know. Yeah. A Turkish journalist just tweeted about you. What did they say? Dude, what the fuck? My ass looks... In this first frame, it looks like my ass is like it looks photoshopped. Is that what my ass looks like? America's most influential Turk of all time, Hassan Piker, is out in the field for socialist candidates. He's going door to door in Wisconsin for socialist gubernatorial candidate Hong. A fan recognizes him and says Hassan Brom and gives him tomatoes. Hassan Brom. That couldn't get translated appropriately. And gives him tomatoes from his garden. Hasanabi starts going to the market too. Dude, what the fuck? I look like I got the Trump ass. Anyway. Uncle Jank says he would support Ro Khanna. Jank will be a power supporter for Ro Khanna in 2028. He tells me he's all in on Ro Khanna's White House run, casting him as a Bernie 26 as opposed to a Bernie 2020. Young Turks founder and Just Democrats co-founder told Playbook he's Bernie 2016 as opposed to Bernie 2020. Economic populism is the single most popular thing in the country, and that's what Ro represents. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, he likes Ro, yes. I mean, I like Ro too. But this doesn't say he is choosing Ro over AOC or vice versa. You know what I mean? Anyway. This was so funny. Oh yeah, this was hilarious. Based Chad America liberal one hand politics asks Hasanabi why he hates America so much and almost gets removed from rally.
Mason with Free the Press.
You got me.
Have a good one. Yeah.
No.
I like that though. You got security on you.
What's good? I love your videos, man. That was so funny. They almost took out a true patriot. They almost took out a true goddamn patriot for speaking the truth. For real though, don't do what Mason did.
Good to meet you, Josh.
Me? I think in these crowds, I could literally say I'm anything, and most people will know I'm fucking around. Dog, I made a Turby Derby joke in the Wisconsin rally, and the entire room laughed. There were 1,400 people in that fucking auditorium, and I made a Turby Derby call out in a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And everybody in the room laughed at that. Do you understand how fucking insane that is? You, Hassan, they were talking to chat. Oh, yeah, don't do that. Yes, don't do that in the real world to me, chat. That might not work out well for you because I obviously know Mason. Mouse at the pool party? They got Mouse at the pool party?
Know what they were doing last night at this pool party that was going on. Some of this stuff makes people uncomfortable. Frankly, it makes me uncomfortable.
Wait, what? The pool party makes me uncomfortable. Why were they around a pool? What gives? And why is the pool not in Tel Aviv? Last time I went swimming, it was in Tel Aviv. Beautiful waters in Israel. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I love it.
We don't need these demagogues or people citing allegiance to Mao coming into Michigan.
Mao. People citing allegiance to Mao. Yeah, dude, by the way, I am noticing that on the last day, these are some of the least relevant messages, okay? The message that you put out on the last day is a message that you're bringing into the general. If you noticed, Abdul's not really attacking Haley Stevens. Abdul has moved on to attacking Mike Rogers. Haley Stevens, on the other hand, instead of like doing a graceful exit, hopefully to consolidate support behind Abdul, has decided to attack me, attack Abdul to the best of her ability. This is not smart. If you care about defeating Republicans instead of becoming a hurdle in the Senate majority for the Democrats, because the Senate majority for the Democrats runs through Michigan, okay? If you care about defeating Republicans, you shouldn't do stuff like this, okay? Knowing that you've lost and then managing a graceful exit would be the appropriate thing. Or if you're still like, oh, I'm going to win this, I have a shot, you should probably focus on Mike Rogers and why you're the better candidate. What she's doing right now is trying to strap herself with a suicide vest and explode the chances of the Democratic Party. Not that it's going to work, but like that's her attempt. Okay? Which is not smart. It's not the smart thing to do. It's not a good thing to do because clearly you haven't read the room correctly. The environment is shifting. Vincent saw what you said about Christian. Live Vincent reaction to the Hassan the Hun Vincent clip. Classic Hassan the Hun has never beaten the faux allegations. Hey, Christian, you should feel replaced. Guess what? There's a new twink in town. That's number one. Number two, you got to hit the books. You got to learn about polls. You got to learn about elections. You have to. Yeah, he's my top gay now. Austin was never top gay. Austin was top gay for like a day. You know what I mean? And then Christian very quickly took over the role, took over the responsibility of top gay. And now it's Vincent. Anyway. Wait, what's the other bag? Oh, okay. I was worried. I thought you accidentally brought someone else's shit. Wait, give me the... Grab this. Yeah. Thank you. You can put the rest over there somewhere. Sure. Put both of them. Why not? Austin is third place gay? Not even, dude. Yesterday, somebody called you and Vincent Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen, and I can't unsee it. This is not very good. Actually, no. Let me get one of them. Let me get the nitro one. Yeah, this sucks. It's a cappuccino, but it's just not very good. Hey, go ahead. If you like it, you can have it. What was that reaction, bro? Yeah, Vincent is my top gay. Christian number 2. Will is number 3. Will's my number 3 gay. The amount of work that Vincent has put in on these campaigns, I mean, he's doing the Lord's work. Yeah, that's not very good either. Whatever. But anyway, as I was saying, like, what gives? What gives, Haley? What gives? What gives? I do legitimately think maybe I'm crazy. Maybe maybe my brain has been like fundamentally rewired because no normal human being is ever the recipient of like this steady a line of attack. But I am beginning to think that like these guys, when their campaigns are failing, either as an act of last act of desperation, or because they got their fucking notes. Okay? Or they got their nose from AIPAC, or just trying to like they basically decide we can't get the top guy, we can't get Abdul, we can't get Zoran, so we might as well just fucking cut this media figure's life short. You know? Like, what is this? Mao? What are you talking about? Why are you on Fox News doing Fox News talking points? Like, I'm not a fucking Maoist, dumbass. The fuck's wrong with you? Anyway, it's fine. Sam Piker regularly argues that accusations of anti-Semitism against him are baseless. No one can point to specific examples. Well, here's the latest example. On a stream over the weekend, Sam Piker claimed that Israel was responsible for a recent migration crisis in Ceuta, Spain. Spreading a conspiracy theory that has gone viral online in recent days, but then he went further and claimed that Israel was looking at the protocols of the Elder Zion to make the conspiracy theories come true. The protocols of fabricated anti-Semitic texts that was fueled persecution of Jews over a century. Yeah, I'm saying that as a fucking joke, dumbass. I'm not saying that that's real. Okay? I'm saying that Israel leans into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and like literally fucking makes people believe them. As in, the implication is that they're fucking fake and dangerous. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah, I'm a firm and committed believer in this now. Fucking assholes. Show us the replies, please. No, they always shut off the replies. Anyway, it was a Richie Torres alum that started the pool party attack. Nothing says I'm in it for the people of Michigan, like spending your last days. You know what's really funny about this stuff? I mean, first of all, this guy's the VP of SKDK, which literally, I'm pretty sure does contract work for Israel now. Right? Didn't they get hired? Am I crazy? SKDK is the one that hired all of the Biden administration genocidaires, right? SKDK is the PR firm that hired all of the press pool from the Pentagon that were prominent genocidaires in the Biden administration. Okay, chatters who are literally rushing to make the same joke. VP of suck dick? Okay, dude. Yes, you got it. You're funny. Yes, SKDK, it's suck dick. I'm asking a fucking serious question. Can we be serious? Jesus fucking Christ. Duh, SKDK! It means suck dick, dude. Yeah, very funny, dude. Oh my God. No one had ever thought about that. Oh, they were. Yeah, okay, I was right. Breaking: SKDK ends Israeli government contract via Politico. They did. So SKDK went and hired all of the former Biden era PR people, publicists, and they were literally doing a fucking contract for Israel, which they dropped, I guess. You raised this like this, big bro? No, I didn't. Take some fucking accountability. Take some goddamn accountability for once in your fucking lives. Okay, legalize comedy. Oh, because the letters could also stand for suck dick lemefeao. I've worked with people from SKDK and never thought of that joke, Lamau. Oh my God. Guys, fucking lock in. Please. It's primary day. It's election day. The cussy guy telling us to be serious? Yes, we do both. We do both around these parts. I'm trying to have a serious conversation. We're talking about genocide errors. Is Michigan venue apologize for hosting a Stevens event? Yes, I know. I am aware. Fox News urgent news. Mao influencer Hasanabi declares fund illegal and vows to eliminate it in radical leftist policy. Real and true. Real news alert. Real and true news alert. Is there a free USB-C? Because I need to charge my phone. Is all of it? Oh, that's at 57? Damn. Wait, do not pull. No, don't pull any of it. No, fuck it. It's fine. We will wait for it. What about the audio one? Yeah, is that? Okay, here. Just hand that over here. What's that tied to? Is that tied to a box or no? Oh, is that tied to the... Okay, that's not going to work. The light on you is too blue and the back is too warm. Need something in between. That's why it's blue, because the back is too warm. That's why I turned it blue. No. I got it, David. You don't touch it. He immediately came back in after. I'm the one who made that blue on purpose, because I look too fuzzy and too orange with the normal warm light. Haas cooking you today? What do you mean? Why? What is he doing? What is Haas doing? He's on Jubilee all the time. He's a Hasanabi head.
I saw you at the.
Oh, is he hitting the scuba? I don't see it. This motherfucker. Haas, stop fucking around, please.
The Japanese place, bro. That place was fire. Yeah. Good to see you, man. Way to be out here. Appreciate it. Of course. You
That was awkward. Anyway, Dave Weigel has a couple different takes on this stuff. Karl Rove came out last night with another 9/11, fucking murder capitals, whatever the fuck he was saying. I don't know. It's Karl Rove, who is, actually responsible for the murder of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, ironically enough, going on Fox News and being like, who's really bad? Hassan Piker. Anyway, Dave Weigel reports, this is more of a Taylor Lorenz expertise, but I think the Hassan 9/11 joke has never hurt like Dems wanted to because everyone under 35 is irony poison and has been laughing at 9/11 jokes for years.
But how did he close his campaign? It's a very insightful. He spent the day campaigning with Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. If you're worried about Medicare fraud, you ought to kill Senator Rick Scott, a former healthcare executive. He said the Hamas attack on Israel and October 7th attack was Israel's fault, and the use of rape by Hamas didn't change the dynamic for him. And he then he has mocked Republican congressman.
Yeah, former. Okay, here's what's really interesting about this. Okay, one, all of the Israel things that he's saying, or even like the Rick Scott thing and the Dan Crenshaw thing, might actually backfire on Karl Rove. Okay, not that they listen to me, so I'm basically giving them advice that they're never going to take. But Republicans in the base, especially Trumpist Republicans, do not fuck with Rick Scott. When they identify why that quote that is misconstrued was made to begin with, they will really not identify with Rick Scott. And last but not least, they fucking hate Dan Crenshaw. So it's ironic that he's like going directly to the audience with the worst possible message. Now, of course, Karl Rove, also an establishment Republican, and is maybe a little out of step with his own base and their desires, because I don't think many Republicans give a shit. Like, perhaps a far better message on Fox News in this situation would be to say, oh, Hassan Piker actually says like they want to arrest the, Trump administration. He wants to arrest ICE agents. Like, that probably would be a better message for the Fox audience. Saying like Dan Crenshaw, who literally got primaried. Like, Dan Crenshaw got primaried. It's clear that the Republicans don't like Dan Crenshaw. Why would you ever bring up Dan Crenshaw, dumbass?
Dan Crenshaw of Texas, a decorated war hero who lost his eye in a firefight in Afghan. He mocked him by praising the guy who took his eye and tried to kill him. I mean, this is how
true. None of it is true, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just that's funny. Mocked. Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. If our fighters were establishment Democrats, if our fighters were centrist, moderate establishment Democrats, and they had nothing to offer, this kind of shit would tank their campaigns. Why? Because when they have nothing to offer, they have to always capitulate and concede to Republican framing. What's going on? Okay. They always have to concede. They always have to capitulate to Republican framing. And that's what they would do. This would be a Sister Soldier moment for like Bill Clinton or any other moderate Democrat, right? But for someone like Abdul, or for someone like Francesca Hong, for all of these other people, they have real policies. So if they are offering something to the voters and they're talking about healthcare, they're talking about poverty in this country, and the Republican opposition's only line of attack is, oh, you're hanging out with a Twitch streamer who's like really fucked up, you're gonna look silly. You're gonna look stupid. Okay? You're gonna look silly, you're gonna look stupid, and you're not gonna be able to fucking effectively campaign. And that's it. That's the beauty of it all. Now, one might say, is this an acceptable risk? Right? Please do not plug something out that is connected to the soundboard or something. Okay, I trust you, but I'm very, very scared. Okay. 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 So, is it better if Abdul never, had a controversial stream? What? Well, okay. All right, that's fine. If Abdul was never linking up with a controversial streamer, well, in the primaries it wouldn't be better, right? In the primaries it wouldn't necessarily be better. Would it be better in the general for him? Probably, right? But, and there's a big but here. There's a big but here. My big but. We're at level 3 Hype Train, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The People's Broadcasting Service, Piker Broadcasting Service, is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. If your only method, if you like the commentary, if you want to support the show, if you want to support independent media, the only way and the most effective way that you can do that is by subscribing. A voluntary subscription goes a long way for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. At level 20 Hype Train, post a new meat photo. That is probably not going to happen. But at level 10 Hype Train, we will carry the flame, as you guys already know. But in any case, this opens up a line of attack. But here is the positive. You can present me as a villain all day, every day. But at the end of the day, I'm not associated with the campaign. Okay? I'm a random Twitch streamer. So when you consistently turn around and say, oh, dude, this guy's a radical, this guy is bad, all you're doing is making me look bad to your fucking geriatric audience and maybe to the liberals who also are tuning into this frequency because they think it's an appropriate line of attack against left insurgent candidates, whatever, right? Every moment that you waste time attacking me is a moment that you're not attacking Abdul. So in that regard, it's actually somewhat good for Abdul because I'll be the punching bag. Okay? For the voters, it's very difficult. Like, even if I go and rally with Abdul, it still doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? It still doesn't matter. Even if I went out and rallied with Abdul and they're like, this guy who went on a rally is a Twitch streamer, most voters are going to be like, I don't care. What is the advocacy? What is the policies that he wants to advance? Because at the end of the day, even if Abdul was saying the things that I had said, right? Even if Abdul had said something that could be misconstrued, that could be weaponized against him, and I'm sure there will be stuff that they'll find from his 2018 run. When he was running for governor, he was a little bit more woke, a little bit more aggro back then. Ultimately, all he needs to do is this. None of this matters. Donald Trump is currently president, and there is a real crisis of affordability. People are struggling to make ends meet. People are struggling to put food on their table. People are struggling to pay for their groceries. People are struggling to pay for their electricity bill that keeps increasing over and over again. That's it. That's it. Even if it wasn't me, because right now I'm being used as a surrogate, right? I'm being used as a surrogate in the same way that I was used as a surrogate with Zoran, in the same way that I was used as a surrogate with Melat, with all these other campaigns where they attack me to attack the candidacies. Okay? But even if I didn't exist and they had something that they could hit him on directly or these candidates on directly, all they need to do is turn around and say, this is silly. Who cares? What I care about is improving your lives. What I care about is improving your material conditions. What I care about is fighting back against this established corporate oligopoly. And of course, when we fight back against that, they will yell about us, they will lie about us, they will smear us, as they have done so for plenty of other people in the past, like Bernie Sanders. It's because they are terrified of your voice being heard, your voice being expressed through your vote for me, Abdul Al-Sayed. Okay? I am here to be your servant, not the servant of corporations and certainly not the servant of foreign nations. That's all you need to do. That's it. Anyway, Dave Weigel also, aside from like the 9/11 comments that they're, trying to fucking beef up here, shots fired by Representative Haley Stevens, who just called out Abdul al-Sayed for campaigning with Hassan Piker. I do think some of this stuff makes people uncomfortable. Frankly, it makes me uncomfortable. Any Democrat associated with AIPAC, a dwindling band, has a vanishing chance of becoming their party's 2028 nominee. Me on how Israel is splitting Dems. This is Edward Luce, associate editor of at the Financial Times. Okay. Dave Weigel says, embrace Hassan thought. It's true. Maoist pool party. That's got to be a new username after what gives. Stick it to him. Yeah. If the America Deserve 9/11 guy campaigning with Zoran didn't work in New York City, that shit ain't going to work anywhere. Yeah, of course not. But this is my favorite type of thing that these people do. His approval rating is shit, lol. Why do you keep giving these people free, unearned good coverage, Dave? He's not a politician. The politicians he embraces are very popular, though. Every candidate he endorsed in the last set of California elections laws, literally wrong. Just wrong. Only Shoykot lost. Yes, I know Elizabeth Warren attacked James Carville at my behest. It was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that. But I guess the likes of Abdul al-Sayed has brought all of us together. Level 6 hype train, it ended at level 6. Oh wait. Oh shit, Michael Fusco art, you couldn't save it. I think you sent 100 gifted right as it ended, unfortunately. My mom's boyfriend was in the towers on that day, and he's a no kings lib who thinks you do good work. Yeah. No, there's so many people like that. Dog, we got a 9/11 first responder elected into Congress, and not only did that not stop people from saying I'm a terrorist, they call him a terrorist. Adam Hamawi is a combat surgeon in the Army. He saved the lives of countless people. He rushed into the fucking burning towers on 9/11, and they call him a terrorist. At some point, we got to realize, like, this 9/11 stuff is just only being weaponized as a way to make Muslims and Muslim candidates look bad. Like, it's a permission structure for Islamophobia. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's so ridiculous. It's so racist. The pic that they showed Haley that made Haley uncomfortable. Okay, stop. Anyway. What is this? Lol at this photo of Barry Weiss in Sun Valley with Sheryl Sandberg, who's toting a copy of John Fetterman's book, Lean In Gals. Oh, that's awesome. Unfettered. Why the fuck does she have a lab coat on? Did you see the CBS TikTok interview they did with Haley Stevens where she talked about how her AIPAC money was from Democrats? No, I didn't see that. But that's a really dumb argument. She's doing gain of function research. Anyway, now let's get to this clinic. Many people are saying this is one of my best media appearances. So this happened right after Channel 4 saw that I was at the Abdul rally, and immediately they locked in because they're like, this guy is he got banned from the UK. This is a great opportunity to get a fucking quick interview. I kept saying no, and they just kept bothering me. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Why not?
Can we just ask you about the Home Office revoking your visa? We're from Channel 4 News in England.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs that the Labour government did such an undemocratic thing. But I guess that's the state of the world now. That's the state of liberal democracy now. I didn't have a problem going into the country under Tory leadership, which, clearly I'm at bigger odds with.
They've said that your presence in the UK wouldn't be conducive to the public good. Do you think that could harm Abdul al-Sayed's campaign being associated with you?
No, I don't think so.
Will it put off some voters?
No, I don't think so.
That's such a funny question. Why the fuck would... Dude, hello, I'm a voter from Kalamazoo. I am going to go out and vote for my favorite senator. Let's see. Will it be for Abdul al-Sayed or will it be for Haley Stevens? Hold on. Let me look through the list of possible surrogates for each campaign and then figure out if one of them has been banned from the UK. Like, what kind of insane line of questioning is this? To which I responded with, no. Why would that be top of mind? American voters are like, do I vote for the Israel Comes to Me in My Dreams candidate or do I vote for the Medicare for All candidate? Wait, hold on. I was going to vote for the Medicare for All candidate over the Israel Comes to Me in My Dreams candidate. But after I found out that the Medicare for All candidate actually campaigned with a guy who got banned from the United Kingdom, I really got to reconsider my positions. Yeah, you lost Abdul, the British geezer voter base. Yeah, guy who's like, day in the life of a Brexit geezer. Wake up in the morning, have a jelly deal, have a go, look at my two favorite Senate candidacies in the Democratic Party. Hopefully neither of them have campaigned with someone who's been banned from the homeland. Yeah, fucking hell. He has. I was going to vote for this bloke who likes Medicare for All, and now I'm reconsidering.
I think so. The overwhelming majority of the Western world, I think, recognizes that what Israel is doing is a genocide. I think the media is now playing catch up at this point, but for the most part, the people are pretty united on this issue. And no matter how hard governments move in the direction of repression, you can't really hide from the truth, and you can't really hide from the shame either. So, it's a setback, it's a hurdle, it's a real shame as well, especially considering that, I personally thought the UK was a bastion of liberal democracy, that these values like freedom of expression were values that especially the Labour government would be committed to. Hopefully there will be some attitude shifts happening with Burnham.
The government says it is committed to those values, but it says that your presence, you threaten those values. You're not conducive to the public good because of some of your rhetoric.
Yeah, of course the government is going to say that. They're not going to be like, yeah, we hate free speech now, but were they really committed to it with the pensioners that they arrested for the Palestine action protests that were taking place? I don't think so. I think that was a significant mode of repression from a government that recognizes that they are out of step with the needs of their voters, with the needs of the masses that recognize that Israel is committing a genocide, and the masses that demand a change from their government. That is the fundamental of liberal democracy, something that I believe in, something that I'm fighting for here in the United States of America, as the Trump administration is putting democracy in the crosshairs. And it is a real shame.
By the way, that was deliberate. I brought it back to Trump because everybody in the UK hates Trump, except for some of the sweatiest fucking losers, with the exception of Nigel Farage. Everybody in the UK hates Trump, right? So I'm saying the Labour government is behaving like Trump. That's on purpose. Okay? I hit that line to be like, look, I'm fighting against Trump out here. I'm fighting against Trump's anti-liberal, illiberal attitudes, and you're over there repeating it. It's completely unacceptable.
See that exact same mechanism of repression get repeated in a country like the United Kingdom.
It's something the country will deny, obviously, the United Kingdom's government.
Of course it's going to deny it.
Will you apply to go again now that Andy Burnham is in?
I said that didn't get picked up that well in the mic, but I was like, of course they're going to deny it. They're not going to say they're fascist. They're not going to be like, yeah, we're doing it for fascism, yeah? Fucking hell. We having baked beans?
Yes, of course. And there's, we're in works. There were a bunch of different conferences that I was supposed to take part in that I had to take part in digitally. Now, in the age of the internet, it is also additionally silly to try to restrict movement in this regard. But I think it was more so a message. It was a message to everybody else that to think twice before they speak out against Israel and against the UK's relationship with Israel, against the United States' relationship with Israel. It's very frustrating, and it also has an additional compounding effect in terms of growing anti-Semitism. Not only is this false association of Zionism and Judaism very harmful for Jews living in the Western world, and it's something that I actually ironically warned about the last time I was in the UK when I spoke at the Oxford Union, which is what I was supposed to do this time as well before I got banned. It's also very harmful for democracy in general. We should not feel comfortable about our governments taking action like this.
And what about some British Jews who say they feel uncomfortable that some of the criticism of Israel does tip over into anti-Semitism? Some British Jews say that makes them feel very unsafe.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Totally understand that. It's something that I oppose. Anti-Semitism is something that I fought back against. It is the canary in the coal mine of fascism. It's completely unacceptable. I'm an anti-fascist. I'm uncompromising on those values. I will always fight back against anti-Semitism as well. The fear can sometimes be very valid. And sometimes I think the fear steps into the territory of defending the nation state of Israel and its actions. I think people are people, countries are countries. I criticize Saudi Arabia vehemently.
You're not suggesting the fear isn't real for people who feel the fear?
Of course not. Of course not. And I do think that there is a legitimate reason for it as well. I think it's not a secret that anti-Semitism has historically exploded in times of Israel's sieges in Gaza. And this time being the most consequential one, the most violent one, has also led to an increase in anti-Semitism. We believe that is partially born out of this false association between Judaism and Zionism, a false association between the nation state of Israel and Jews living in the Western world, Jews all around the world. We oppose that, and we will continue fighting back against that, no matter what people say.
Are some in the Democratic Party, in the establishment, out of touch with how many younger voters especially are feeling about issues like Israel and what's going on in Gaza?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a secret. I think this race, as well as many other races that I've played somewhat of a role in, I had the honor to work alongside some of these wonderful candidates. This insurgent movement that's growing in this country has proven time and time again that...
You give way too much grace to these bad faith genocide propagandists. Dude, here's why. They don't deserve my grace. They don't deserve my charity, but it doesn't fucking matter because I'm not revealing a perspective that is unique to me here. I'm not conceding on anything. These are things that I believe. So who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Okay? I'm just, once again, as always, repeating my framework for those who are hearing from me for the first time ever. Okay? That's it. And I'm also matching their energy. It's not like the reporter is just like being that silly. If they were to be like, well, don't you feel like you're fomenting anti-Semitism, stuff like that? You know, it's just, it's situational. If it was like a super reactionary reporter and they were like aggressively coming after me, then yeah, I would flip it back on them.
It's not just about Israel, but a litany of different issues as well. It's about corporatism. For some, it's about capitalism. But for many, it's about corruption and a lack of interest from our politicians to address some of these.
Also, yeah, you guys missed it. I fucking cooked right here.
Has proven time and time again that it's not just about Israel, but a litany of different issues as well. It's about corporatism. For some, it's about capitalism. But for many, it's about corruption and a lack of interest from our politicians to address some of these economic pains that people are experiencing. I mean, after all, this is exactly what Donald Trump ran on as well. He said he was going to fix the prices, and yet prices remain quite high. There's a real affordability crisis in this country. He said he was going to run on a peace ticket, that he was going to be the peace president, and yet he has started countless wars and only continues to leave the world in a state of disarray. A lot of people are very frustrated by that. It's not just the Democrats either. There are a lot of independents who are frustrated by this too, and there are a lot of Republicans who are frustrated by this too. And I think it's fine for DC to be bubbled in and to be completely out of step with the needs of the masses, at least for the time being, because this is a real opportunity for campaigns such as this one, such as Abdul's, such as Melak Kiros, Chris Chris Rabb, many people who are here right now, Donovan McKinney, who's running tomorrow as well in the primary, to really shine, to show that there is an alternative perspective out there, one that centers the needs of the working class rather than corporate interests. Because for far too long, that's been the only game in town. But we're coming.
Are there parallels with how the working classes are feeling in Britain, but there they're turning to the populist right and not the left? Why do you think that is?
That is an exact parallel that I warned about when Keir Starmer won his race. That was my biggest warning to the British fans that I have, that if Keir Starmer does not overturn years and years of Tory-backed austerity measures, that the populist right was going to continue growing and become a force that the left, the institutional left, could not even fight back against. And I'm afraid that's exactly where we're at. However, at least with the Green Party, there is a little bit of excitement where the base can turn to a functional party that will represent their needs, that will represent a significant pushback against the growth of fascism in the UK, whether it be reform or even restore Britain. Including restore Britain and its unholy allegiance with the likes of Elon Musk.
Thank you for that.
Of course, no problem.
That was a clinic. Okay, that was like, I'll take it. That was like Zoran level. Okay, that was Big Z level. Very clear, very concise. Boom, 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 boom. Another social interaction nailed. Blocked entry in the UK because of Israel's political lobby. Let's say it like it is. Have to remember the UK government now decides who can enter the country based on if Israel likes them or not. Would voters in Michigan thinking about Abdul be put off because Hassan was banned from the UK? What kind of question is that? Schumer getting blocked from entering the UK, but war criminals are welcome with open arms. Amazing analysis. He's miles ahead of the media in calling out power and demanding political reform. Israel and what's going on in Gaza is such a flagrant cowardice and misinformation that will happily push the dishonest anti-Semitic, but call what's happening in Gaza a situation. Oopsie doodle, just a little situation over there. Reporter blown away from the away by the most coherent and reasonable political interviewee she has ever encountered. What a change from the dissembling, mealy-mouthed, bought and paid for politicians and political pundits she meets in Britain. You conceded a little too much on anti-Zionism makes Jews feel less scared though. Dude. That's not the primary concern. The primary concern is the genocide. It's very clear that I'm not saying that like that makes it appropriate to stop arguing against genocide. Are you fucking stupid? My argument there is it's understandable that there's a reasonable amount of fear that British Jews have. Sometimes that fear is reasonable, and in other times it actually sidestepped the conversation into stopping criticism of Israel. That's what I said. Are you fucking stupid? Do you have shit in your ear? What is this? You were interviewed by the Rolling Stone? Where is... Who's afraid? Oh, shit. I'm on the cover of this month's Rolling Stone. I did get interviewed by the Rolling Stone. What a way to find out. Zohran Mamdani, the Rolling Stone interview. Creator special, the 25 most influential. Who's afraid of Hassan Piker at home with America's most controversial streamer. Damn. What a way to fucking find out that I'm, this is the... Yeah, you can't see here. Zohran Mamdani, and then creator special, 25 most influential. Who's afraid of Hassan Piker at home with America's most controversial streamer. You look a little bit different here. Yeah, I look a lot better than I normally do, if you noticed. Wow, they made you look so different. Lol. You look like Gracie Abrams. Good one, chatters. Also, huge points for actually elaborating that this capitulation to Israel's demands actually reinforces anti-Semitic rhetorics and agitation by cynical and bigoted people. Exactly. I need you guys to understand something. A lot of people fundamentally misunderstand my position because I do talk about like Jewish exceptionalism, right? I do talk about it, and a lot of people to my left flank in the anti-Zionist movement will oftentimes be like, why are you even bringing up anti-Semitism at all? Who cares? Like, even if their argument sometimes is literally, who cares? Even if people are anti-Semitic, genocide is still worse. And I understand that argument. But the reason why I bring up anti-Semitism is not because I'm like paying the piper so that people don't yell at me or whatever the fuck you think is going on. I bring it up because I do care about it. Okay? I care about it. I don't give a fuck if you don't. I do. Okay? That's it. That's it. When it comes down to opposing all forms of bigotry, including anti-Semitism, I will always do it. When it comes down to combating the cynical weaponization of anti-Semitism in an effort to silence anti-genocide voices, I will call it out. Okay? That's it. That's it. So I don't give a shit about your position on this. This is my position. Perhaps you have a different one. It's fine. You have your own platform. You can keep chirping from your own platform. It's not like I'm allowing criticisms of anti-Semitism to get in the way of anti-Israel commentary. I'm never doing that. Okay? Yes, I know Zay Squirrel was ripping into me because the position is basically that anti-Semitism doesn't exist because it's not materialized into actual oppression. It doesn't matter. Okay? It does not fucking matter. It does not matter. There is still an element of historical repression that does not exist for anti-white bigotry. That's the reason why I can always fucking joke around about, cracker or whatever the fuck. Okay? Like, there's a difference. Because the argument from the anti-Zionists who bring this up is like, Jews are white, or in Norm Finkelstein's words, white plus, and therefore being like anti-Semitic is basically the same as being, anti-white, like demonstrating anti-white rhetoric. There's a level of truth as far as like systematic oppression goes, right? Because yes, Jews are not victim to systemic forms of discrimination by virtue of being Jewish, but that doesn't mean that there hasn't been historic discrimination. And on top of that, contemporary instances of hatred and bigotry, okay? It's true. It does exist. And not only that, but also it is a main organizing principle for fascists on the internet. So I'm sorry, I will make that distinction every single time. That has always been a major organizing principle for the fascists. Nowadays, it's still somewhat of an organizing principle for the fascists, and it's also to be pro-Israel as well. It's ironic because both anti-Semitism and pro-Israel thought are two major through lines, major organizational principles of the international fascist movement. Don't ask me how that's the case, but it's still the case. Okay? And the people that oppose Israel and then say anti-Semitic shit are oftentimes then using that as an opportunity to demonstrate white nativist talking points, to say Jews are doing great replacement. Jews are doing great replacement in the Western world. I'm sorry. I am always going to oppose that narrative. It doesn't matter if you don't want to fucking parse through it, but it's fucking stupid. Okay? I'm not going to play by those rules. You might have a disagreement with me, but the difference here is, do you disagree with my broader points, or do you just disagree with one element of it where I even give credence to the argument of anti-Semitism in an effort to immediately chop it down and then bring in a broader point about how this shouldn't be cynically weaponized against the broader anti-Zionist fucking movement? So I do not care what people who oppose me to my left flank have to say about my commentary. If they are comfortable with a different school of thought or a different way of doing it, then, let them do it. The other reason why I don't do it is because the whole, this is a Jewish state, this is Jewish endeavors, we're doing this for the international Jewry shit, is not only channeled by fucking neo-Nazis, but it's also channeled by the Zionist neo-Nazis. Okay? It's always a handshake between Nick Fuentes and Jonathan Greenblatt. It's a handshake between Nick Fuentes and the entire Israeli movement in this country. They also say this is for the Jews. Why are we fucking giving in to this idiotic framing when that's not the reality? That's it. And then it turns into, oh, Hassan is like pro-IDF. He's pro-IDF. He's pro-war crimes. Why? Because in a clip, I was talking about rehabilitation and redemption, that there was a former Israeli occupying forces member, former IDF soldier, who was a Hasanabi head, who is now a committed anti-Zionist. If you do not believe that even someone who is participating in the IDF could become an anti-Zionist, I'm sorry, you're out of your fucking mind. Yes, they can. For me, my theory of change has always been this, okay? This is a foundational thing I believe in, okay? This is what I've always believed in. And if I didn't believe in this, I wouldn't be as successful as I am in terms of converting so many former reactionaries into loyal servants of the people, okay? Loyal soldiers of the cause. So you might operate on the perspective of vengeance. Unfortunately, there are plenty that feel that way, okay? Plenty of people feel that way. It sucks. I always urge you to reconsider. Those guys yelled at me for defending an IDF veteran when he was standing with us at the UCLA encampment, encouraging UAW to go on strike for divestment. Yeah, there's always people like this that just go, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, you were in the IDF in the past, so fuck you. You're done. What do you want them to do? Like kill themselves? Do you think that would be more worthy? Or do you think that the fact that they are now advocating aggressively against Israel's genocide, advocating against Israel, advocating against Zionism is perhaps a far better way to make up for their past possible crimes? Obviously, there are differences, but to me, Jewish Americans and East Americans occupy similar roles. Neither face structural discrimination from business or the government, but both face significant discrimination from the individuals to a degree that results in violence and hate crimes. You can't say that just for generic white Americans. Yes, there is obviously a difference. But it's also situational. It depends on where you are. Like Norm says, Jews are white plus because he fucking lived in New York his whole life. He lived in Brooklyn his whole life. Obviously, it's a little bit different if you're like in Alabama and you're Jewish. Some will look at you and be philo-Semitic and go, "Oh my God, you are like God's chosen son. What can I do for you?" But there are plenty of others who will be a fucking neo-Nazi and be like, "You're Jewish? Where's your tail? Where's your fucking horns?" It's a little bit different in different parts of the country. Having said that, we're talking about systematic forms of discrimination. And yes, Jews broadly do not face systemic discrimination in contemporary American society. They had in the past, but currently it's not the case. It's not like no one is going to make the argument that the discrimination that Jews experience is identical to black people in this country or brown people in this country. And the people who will say that are fucking psychotic.
One issue that seemed to be the most salient, the most elicit the most passion from people certainly was her stance on Israel and her support for taxpayer dollars continuing to be used to support the Israeli military. I want to play you portions of my conversations with voters here today, and I'll start with that point specifically. This is what a voter had to say when she learned that Haley Stevens, rather relative to Abdul Sayed, supports U.S. support for Israel. Take a listen.
I just wouldn't want a single of our family's tax-paying dollars to go towards something like that. It's like giving money to violence.
So would you support a Senate candidate, in this case Haley Stevens, who's more of a moderate like you tend to like, but would that be enough?
That would definitely turn me off as 100%. I couldn't. I would vote for a communist first.
Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. We're coming. It's over. It's fucking over. What about justice? What do you mean, what about justice? That is justice. If someone is a fucking former conscripted IDF soldier that was simply born in Israel and did serve in the IDF, and then literally became an anti-Zionist, a committed anti-Zionist, that's literally justice. That's literally justice. That is justice. What the fuck is the point of the justice system? God damn it, I hate having this conversation with Americans because you guys are fucking monsters half the time, okay? You are fucking monsters, bro. Like, when it comes to criminal justice, when it comes to punishment, this is the part of the reason why I'm like, I'm not a prison abolitionist, but I'm 100% closer to the prison abolitionist perspective than the average American's framework on this issue. Because, oh my God, you guys literally fantasize about the violent crimes that someone might have committed, and you fantasize further about how you need to create an equal vengeance structure. Americans sometimes literally feel like they want to be the rapist murderers, but at least they can sidestep that fantasy by abdicating the responsibility of the rape and murder in the hands of the fucking government, okay? That's what it feels like to me, where you guys fancy yourselves to be woke and open-minded, but meanwhile, you just literally want the government to kill something. Someone needs to die, and I hope it's the carceral state. I hope it's the carceral structure that will murder people. Someone needs to be murdered. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. It is so unbelievably reactionary. Holy fuck. It is sadistic. You're a bunch of goddamn sadists, dude. Fuck me. Americans don't understand the principle of justice. Justice is not about vengeance. Justice is not about punitive measures and vengeance. Justice is about making sure that the person that has done the wrong will never commit it again. And then you guys turn around and make idiotic assessments like, oh, what about Benjamin Netanyahu? What if Benjamin Netanyahu became an anti-Zionist? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, dude. Stop using fucking ridiculous hypotheticals, dude. Yeah, what about it? What about it? Is it possible? No. So shut the fuck up. You just want a stupid fucking clip so you can post it and then continue with this idiotic narrative like, oh, look at how stupid Hassan is. Man, I'm not entertaining your dumbass fucking hypothetical. How about you suck my fucking nuts? Okay? Jesus Christ. God, I hate so many of you fucking debate pedophiles in the chat. You should be going to prison for debate pedophilia. How about that? You like that? You like that draconian measure? Can't entertain a goddamn unique thought in this stupid fucking community comprised of idiotic monsters who have never entertained a world where rehabilitation is possible. Nope. It's supposed to be a day of glory and excitement. I can't even feel the fucking enthusiasm in this goddamn room because for the last 4 days, I haven't been, as responsive to the chat. So all of you fucking hyenas in here that are actively vying for my attention have to come out with the most idiotic fucking takes, dude. The most, you literally logged on today. You're like, you know what? After a long day of sucking the man's dick, I am now locked in, tuned in at the Hasanabi broadcast. How can I get him to call me a name? How can I get him to pay attention to me? I am desperate for it. It's been 5 days. I feel like I'm literally in the desert. This is my oasis. Holy shit. This is what happens when we don't game? Yes, it's true. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. Where the fuck was I? I cut off my family so it's just me and you now. Okay, good, good. That's a joke, by the way. Yeah, Hillary Skolton refused to back Abdullah al-Sayed. We're coming for you, Hillary, says Austin Ox. It's really interesting because, apparently she's also, as a campaign surrogate, spending the last fucking day. Baiting honestly does work. Of course it works. Now that rant is going to get clipped out and Fox News is going to be like Hassan Piker calls American monsters. Okay? Not understanding that in the longer timeline, in the longer conversation outside of that clip, I'm saying look, I love this country, but sometimes we're so fucking vindictive. But it's fine. That guy got the clip. And if he hadn't gotten that clip, he would have fucking killed himself. He would have purchased the gun and put it in his goddamn mouth and pulled the fucking trigger. So hopefully I was able to stave off that urge for one day. He'll probably do it tomorrow, I saved a life. I'm a hero. Anyway, there's another race going on in St. Louis. This time, Wesley Bell, the AIPAC attack dog, is the incumbent, and Cori Bush is coming for... Cori Bush is coming back for her seat. It's a tougher race. We shall see how it goes. I really hope she wins her race. She deserves it.
To is your local election headquarters. 2 years after Wesley Bell unseated Cori Bush in a closely watched primary, the two Democrats are facing off once again for Missouri's first congressional district seat.
Fox 2's Laura Simon is live in St. Anne at the St. Louis County Board of Elections with a closer look at this contentious race. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Blair and Mike. Good morning, all of you watching at home as well. So this rematch essentially picks up right where it left off. You'll remember that Wesley Bell a couple years ago defeated Cori Bush by basically just about 7,000 votes, which is a margin of about 5.5 percentage points. And now both candidates, they are facing off yet again, making their voices heard to voters. They're talking everything from tornado recovery and public safety and have very differing views on those issues. They also differ on the economy and the future of St. Louis. So former Congresswoman Cori Bush is looking to win back the seat that she lost 2 years ago. She has criticized Bell's response to last year's deadly tornado and accuses him of not doing enough to push for disaster relief funding and other priorities in Washington.
When we needed him to actually deliver for disaster recovery funding, when we needed him to stand up against Trump's deportation regime, when we needed him to call for the end of wars and genocide overseas. Instead, we feel the absence of a person in D.C. actually representing us.
We've gotten over $200 million and counting allocated to the St. Louis region thus far. Now, it's not enough. But the fact that we're looking at some of our friends in other states who got zero, we know that there's more work to do. At the end of the day, we want to see a durable and lasting peace for everyone in the Middle East. That includes folks in Gaza, that includes folks in Israel.
Bell has centered his campaign on issues like gun violence, economic development, and growing the region as well. The two candidates have also clashed over allegations surrounding Bush's tornado relief fundraising.
Look, I want to say one final note on people, okay? On my attitude on criminal justice, but more so just like reform and rehabilitation, okay? Because this isn't just about crime. This is about social crimes primarily, okay? Things that people in your social circles might perceive to be like fucked up, imperfections in your past. I will always make space for you. Regardless of who you were in the past, what matters now is how you atone for it. What matters now is how you carry yourself, okay? That is always a promise that I will make to you. It does not matter how other people's attitudes are towards you. I will always be open-minded. I will always be understanding. I do not care, okay? There's always an opportunity for redemption. No one is fucking perfect. I always repeat this, but I think it's an important message to repeat because I think it's one of the worst elements of the broader left is this idea that we basically become cops. Like everyone wants to be a fucking cop. Everyone wants to be a little cop. I hate it. I hate this mentality, okay? I hate this mentality. There are some of you out there who are like, well, I've done this or that. I've been in like right-wing circles. I've had right-wing opinions. I went down the fucking right-wing rabbit hole. There are others just like you. Okay? There are others just like you. What matters is who you become. Okay? Your experiences are your experiences. We are all imperfect vessels. Okay? That to be imperfect is to be human. So what matters is not what you have done in the past. What matters is what you're doing now. Okay? I will never abandon you. I will never cast you aside. I will never reject you. I will never fucking sit there and try to lord my current moral perspective as being much higher than you. Okay? I hate that shit. It's gross. It's wrong. And most of the people only get to do it on the internet under the guise of anonymity because no one can turn that mirror back at them. Okay? No one is like this in the real world. No one is like this for their immediate family members. No one is like this for their friends. They're far more forgiving in the real world, and they're far more open-minded, and they're far more understanding. You can never organize adequately. You can never organize and build a large movement if your attitude is simply, things are irredeemable. Okay? Facts. I think it stems from the resentment on the left of the wrong people being punished in society. It's like a reactionary fantasy of revenge. Yes, it is. It is. You should always show grace and charity to others. As Michael Brooks said, be ruthless to systems, but be kind to individuals. And I try to channel that. I try to champion that to the best of my ability every day. Of course, sometimes I fail on that front too. After all, I'm human and I too am imperfect. Having said that, this is one of the aspects that we must be unbelievably disciplined on. Okay? We have to be more gracious to others. We have to be more kind to others, and we have to, everyone needs room to grow. Everyone needs room and space and charity. Everyone needs someone to fucking lend a helping hand at some point in their lives. Okay? What is this? Blue Sky Hasanabi heads aren't happy with Hassan. Too bad Hassan refuses to stop showing support for the Nazi platform Twitch and will never see any of this. Well, the author that had that take has made their post visible only to people who are signed in on Blue Sky. So I will never see it. Also, you're going to get timed out for 30 seconds for trying to fucking start drama with the ultra woke. Right after I got done being like, you should show grace, you should show charity, you were like, here's a Blue Sky link saying that you're imperfect because you're on the Nazi platform Twitch. Yes, you're right. What I should do is actually live stream to a platform just for that Blue Sky user. I should just live stream on the platform Blue Sky to people who only agree with me. This would probably dull my impact quite significantly, but it doesn't matter because we'll be the perfect little 5-person reading group. This is woke 1.0 nonsense. We've moved past it. Stop doing it.
Which she denies. And I did speak with a St. Louis County voter about this contentious race, and here's where he stands between these two candidates.
I'm gonna give Corey a second chance.
Yes.
She probably made a mistake her first time, but you can't let a person down just because they make the first mistake. You always do a second chance.
Goated.
Another voter I spoke with did not want to go on camera, but she does tell me Wesley Bell has her vote. You can read more about these candidates and other.
Didn't want to go on camera, huh? Interesting.
I watched this speech.
Bro. She's like, all the voters for Wesley Bell are right here with me. They're smiling just away from the camera. What is this? A majority of the most annoying folks on Blue Sky are white folk who've never been told no and think slurs are mostly wrong. ... Mostly. I mean, slurs are mostly wrong. I do agree with that. Yeah, this voter goes to another school. Oh, the Jam Boys, they were talking about Corey as well.
And you were like, APAC, I'm coming for your kingdom, like just straight up. And when I saw it, I think it was just such a crazy moment because I wanted to ask you two questions, like having so much money like in that pot, just buying off elections like APAC does, and kind of just being like the underdog in that situation, and what gave you the hope to like run again, considering like APAC is literally buying off elections? What is something too we can give hope to like new voters on upcoming elections to like still vote, considering they're like breaking records starting now and they just keep going up and up and up? How do we keep
saying to be charitable, then say everyone who's too woke can fuck off, practice what you preach, crazy squirrel? You're not even charitable to your chatters. Yes, I expect more from my community members. That's 100% the case. Yes. I expect far more because we are a unit, okay? We are a collective. We are a unit. So your expressions matter a lot more. I mean, you're not a community member. You've probably been banned already. This is probably your 18th sock account. Let's be real. That's why you created same day, following same day. You've probably been banned in the past for being fucking annoying, an annoying nuisance. This is not a demand to make this community more equitable. This is narcissism, okay? A lot of people don't realize that they're actually behaving in narcissistic ways that masquerade as social justice. It's a real problem on the left, okay? There's a real problem on the left. Many people fall for it too. Many people fall for it. Because as long as someone is using the correct terminology or the correct framework of social justice, they can kind of get away with being a fucking narcissistic asshole. Okay? You brought this up not because you genuinely have a significant problem with a 30-second ban. 30 seconds, by the way. Far more time that I have spent responding to you than the other chatter was banned for. Okay? But I'm doing it right now because I need you to understand this is an important exercise in humility. Okay? You just wanted to be a nuisance. That's it. This is unironically one of the things that the reactionary right actually clocked, even though they fucking deploy it falsely towards anyone that is like moderately to the left of Donald Trump. It's virtue signaling. That's what it is. You're signaling a virtuous position that you do not abide by, that you do not actually maintain, that you're simply doing it because you know this community will give you the time of day. That I will give you the time of day. It's narcissistic. You just want it to be the center of attention.
People engaged with it.
Well, so for me, first, it was just the idea, did you complete the mission? You went there for a purpose. Did you complete it? And if the answer is no, then you're not done. But also the community was reeling after a tornado ripped through the inner city in St. Louis. We don't think that a tornado will hit an inner city, but it did. And it hit one of the most historically excluded, under-resourced communities that we have in our district. And people were living in tents next to the bricks that were their homes. A year later, still are. The hope was, I know we can do something. I know that if I go back into this seat, I'm not going alone. I'm taking our local groups. I'm working with our national groups. I'm taking the people that usually don't get a chance to get to a table, and I'm taking them and I'm bringing them along so that their voices can be heard. But also, I'm putting them in a position to lead because I'm there to hold the door open so that other people can walk through. That's what I'm there for. So that is the hope. The hope is that we get to go to Congress, not Cori Bush. We go to Congress because I prioritize you. I see you. I know what it's like to be hungry like you. I know what it's like to not have health care like you. I know what it's like to lose a loved one to gun violence or whatever like you. I know what it's like. So because of that, I have the responsibility to put you first. And so the hope is that not only will we defeat AIPAC and these other groups and be able to get back to Congress, we will send a message that you can hold true to your values, that you can stand up for all humanity, that you can push back on the billionaires that are trying to poison our communities and extract from us. We can push back and still do the work and succeed in these communities. We can fight the Trump administration and win. They tried to put this an investigation against me. We won, so even though they try to discredit us, the hope is us. If we don't stop, we can win. The only way we lose is when we do stop.
This morning, a massive political test unfolding nationwide, with primary voters headed to the polls in 5 different states that could help determine the future direction of the Democrats.
By the way, it's 1:26 California time, 4:26 p.m. here in Michigan. Okay, 4:30 in Michigan, which means that in approximately 4 hours and 34 minutes, the polls will close. And I suspect shortly thereafter, we will know who the projected winner is. Now, I don't want to make any crazy predictions here, but given that the mobilization has been tremendous so far, where early voting numbers are actually higher than 2024, there's one side whose ground game and mobilization could perhaps be the reason for that increased attention. Is it not 3.5 hours? Wait, is it? Polls close at 8. Oh, shit. Sorry. Polls close at 8, not 9. I was wrong. It's 3.5 hours. Fuck. 3.5 hours, not 4.5 hours. I apologize. I thought it was at 9. I thought polls close at 9. God damn. I've been canvassing nonstop. I should not give you the wrong information right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. I got the wrong info out. I'm delivering. I'm giving fake news out, dude. Dishing out fake news.
Democratic Party. One of the most closely watched contests here in Michigan, with four-term Congresswoman Haley Stevens taking on progressive Abdul El-Sayed in what's become the Dems' most expensive Senate primary race ever. More than $63 million spent on TV ads supporting Stevens, with about half of those ads coming from a super PAC aligned with the pro-Israel group AIPAC.
Haley Stevens, a proven fighter for Michigan.
Stevens is campaigning as a moderate with the support of many in the party establishment, including Senator Chuck Schumer and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
People are talking about my style and approaches, but I win for my state.
But she's facing a tough political battle from El-Sayed, who pitches himself as a political outsider who supports Medicare for all, abolishing ICE, and ending military aid to Israel. El-Sayed campaigning with prominent progressives in the closing weeks, including Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We want to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all, because it just shouldn't be this hard to get by.
The winner set to face Trump-endorsed Congressman Mike Rogers.
Republicans are making life more affordable.
In a November showdown for a seat currently held by a Democrat. It's a must-win for Democrats hoping to flip the Senate. From the White House, President Trump attacking both Democratic candidates.
But you have a communist versus a socialist. That's the way I look at it.
This is beautiful, by the way. This is beautiful because it reveals that even someone like Haley Stevens is still a socialist in the eyes of the Republican Party. And I love that personally. I love that personally because like that's what we've been saying. Right? That's what we've been saying. Hey man, it's me, Vincent. It was cool to stream with you yesterday. Megaphonics, you piece of shit. Don't try to act like you're actually Vincent. That's crazy. Megaphonics comes back from Megaphonics comes back from Mongolia, immediately assumes the role of a different person. Wife of Phonics. We all know it's you, Mitch Voter. Yeah. Megaphonics trying to steal Vincent's aura. That's crazy. No, Vincent doesn't have a Twitter. Vincent does not have any social media. He's too busy trying to win elections, okay? This is such a funny thing. By the way, beast mode on these campaign trucks. These trucks with pro Abdul El-Sayed messengers driving around Midtown and downtown Detroit today. Abdul equals Michigan's future. Haley equals Israel's future. You decide. Haley equals Michigan's future. El-Sayed equals Egypt's future. The above should be viewed as racist. So should the below. Dog. Haley Stevens is not Israeli. And Haley Stevens is not even Jewish. What the fuck is happening? Okay? Like, I'm sorry. Being fucking pro-Israel and saying Israel comes to me in my dreams does not make you Jewish. I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind. Abdul El-Sayed is not running on a platform to give billions of dollars to Egypt. As a matter of fact, it's a key part of his plank that he says, like, I don't want to give money to Egypt either. What the fuck? These people are so funny. Dude, the pro-Israel movement in this country have lost their dang minds, okay? They have lost their dang minds. I cannot stress this enough. There is a real crisis happening in the Hasbara movement. There's a real crisis happening in the Zionist movement where they have lost their dang minds. They think like, oh, the more pro-Israel you are, the more Jewish you are. If you're Jewish and anti-Zionist, then you're no longer Jewish. They straight up have decided that that is now the new meta. It blows my fucking mind. Yeah. This is one of the key reasons this race is broken containment. Apolitical people I know who hadn't yet heard about Abdul were asking me if he was running against the Israel comes to me in my dreams lady months ago. Yep. To that end, it's flatly untrue that AIPAC's goal is to combat anti-Semitism. Groups spent millions to support, yeah, of course, to support Haley Stevens against Andy Levin, specifically and explicitly because Levin is Jewish and a former synagogue president and was critical of Israel. Okay, because of that, he represented a threat to their actual goal, which is supporting Israel. Why they try to pretend otherwise is beyond me. Andy Levin, former synagogue president Andy Levin, prominent member of the Jewish community in his community, was aggressively spent against by AIPAC, okay? They cooked him. This race is also Andy's revenge in some respects. Andy Levin also happens to be one of the first endorsers of Abdul El-Sayed, ironically enough. He was first. He was one of the first like Michigan endorsements that Abdul El-Sayed received because, you know, there's obviously some anger and some understandable resentment towards Haley Stevens and towards AIPAC in particular.
Meanwhile, in both here in Michigan and in Kansas, you have voters making their picks to replace term-limited Democratic governors in states that President Trump won. By the way, in 5 states this morning.
Why didn't you launch a phone bank for Corey? Big dog. I maxed out the Corey. I went to St. Louis for Corey. We've been promoting the phone banks for Corey for the past couple of weeks. What are you talking about, dude? Are you okay? I'm one person. The real question is, why are you in here and not fucking smiling and dialing for Corey right now? Like, what have you done for Corey Bush? I don't understand this. I don't understand this at all. I'm so...
You have competitive House primaries. This primary season is well underway. Guys?
It is indeed. Shaquille Brewster for State Michigan. Shaq, thank you. NBC's Steve Kornacki joining us now with a closer look at the races to watch on this primary day. Steve, always good to have you, buddy. Let's start where Shaq is. Let's start in Michigan. This race between the establishment and so-called progressives and what it could mean come November.
A major story we've been following throughout this primary season has been the rise of...
Do you think that the ultimate goal of the DSA should be to save the Democratic Party? What kind of fucking dumbass question is this, dude? Are you a trot? Are you from the socialist alternative? Is that what's going on? Are we still doing this? No, that's not the fucking goal. The goal is to advance socialism. The goal is to help people, okay? That is the primary goal. The goal is to help people. Jesus Christ.
These far
All
left
the fucking
candidates
morons are in the chat today.
in Democratic primaries. They've scored some major victories. If Abdul El-Sayed is able to win tonight in Michigan, by far, this would be the biggest win that the left wing of the Democratic Party has posted.
I feel like this is another clip. The goal has always been to help people. It doesn't matter what the vessel is. It doesn't matter how it takes shape. The goal has always been primarily to advance the material conditions of the working class. That's it. That's the first goal. That's the last goal. Okay? Please. Bad day, bud. It's actually a good day, but I'm having somewhat of a bad time because I think like I said, when I don't pay close attention to chat for a couple days, they get unfucking bearable as a collective. Many of you are good. I just Anyway.
In these primaries. Just as a reminder here, these are some of the other names that have won here. Mela Kiros, this is a race for Congress. She ousted a 30-year incumbent in Denver, a 10-year incumbent ousted in New York by Chevalier, a self-described socialist, Chris Rabb, Philadelphia. The significance in Michigan, though, these are all blue districts, blue cities, places where they're going to win in November. Michigan's a swing state. President Trump carried it 2 out of 3 times. Can somebody from the far left of the Democratic Party, backed by many of the folks who backed these candidates, can a candidate like that, if he wins this primary, win a general election in a Trump state?
Steve, what do Democrats have?
I'm pretty confident there's an astroturfing effort on here on social media, etc. There's so Discord on our side. I've seen a noticeable uptick in the last couple of days. So for the longest time, our problem was we couldn't unite people into taking action and win power, no matter how tiny it may seem. Nowadays, we have become victim to our own success. Now that there is actually some motion, some institutional motion, some mobilization efforts that have actually yielded tremendous fruits, and now that mobilization is growing, and we're taking the victories that we have claimed to create more victories in the rest of the country, now you have people that feel, I think, like a level of resentment, a level of entitlement, a level of jealousy, that feel as though they are not a part of the movement firmly. Maybe they made their commitments elsewhere, and they're coming in to disparage. They're coming in to say, oh, look, I know that you guys are moving the needle, but you're not doing it in my way. So we're just going to prick at it. We're going to prick at it to the best of our ability. Oh, Abdul says he's a capitalist. Like, how dare you? How dare you endorse a guy like that? Why would you do that? All this stuff. And I think it's just I can't tell if it's like deliberate. I don't know what it is. I would assume that it's more of a base feeling of resentment, not born out of any sort of like disciplined method of change that we don't abide by, but instead a base resentment of envy. That's what I think. Crabs in a bucket mentality. When Abdul wins, wait for the centrists to fund Rogers so they can present their centrism as electability case. I do worry about that, but we shall see.
Going for them, and what are some of the biggest challenges that you see them having moving forward?
Yeah, look, if Al Sayed wins, the best thing he could have going for him would be the climate here in the general election, and that is President Trump's not popular. 39% approval rating, especially on the economy and especially on Iran, two of the front and center issues. So is the weight of Trump just too much for Republicans, even against, if it comes to it, a candidate like El Sayed in Michigan? The flip side, though, is we say the risk Democrats might be taking politically.
I'm reporting from the Wisconsin front, but dog, all my normie-ish Twitter followers are going nutty over you. Yeah, the Wisconsin stuff is a nightmare. We'll get to that in a second.
Here it is, a recent poll here from our friends over at Fox.
It's organic. My friend in the PSL hates you. Good. Put that on a long list. That's what I need. More enemies. More enemies from the left flank. Okay, good. Great. Meanwhile, the federal government is trying to actively tie me up on a fucking RICO case with, Roy Singham. But your dumb fuck, moronic, baboon-like friend who is in the Party for Socialism and Liberation hates me. Who gives a fuck, dude? It's a long-ass line. If they want to stand on that line with Zionists, pedophiles, monstrous corporatists, monstrous forms of parasitic capital, Trumpists, then go ahead. Make my fucking day. Okay? Who gives a fuck about what your stupid fucking friend in PSL has to say? The overwhelming majority of the members that comprise of the Party of Socialism and Liberation are fans and friends. Those who are locked in. Those who understand the importance of solidarity. Who fucking cares if your dumb fuck friend hasn't been able to figure it out? Fuck your friend.
Socialism, views of socialism inside the Democratic Party, it's more popular socialism than not. Take a step outside the Democratic Party, totally different story. 1777 among independents. So if you nominate a candidate who is backed, he says he's not a socialist, but he's backed by many who are. Sure. Is that a risk you're taking?
Let's talk about what it all means come November, Steve. Let's take a look at the balance of power in Washington.
Yeah, I gave you a sneak peek a second ago. Balance in the Senate right now. Look, this means that Democrats, if this November they're going to get the majority, they need to gain 4 seats. They need to get to 51. This is the map, the seats up this year, the parties that currently hold them. The bottom line, Democrats right now have to flip 4 of these red seats around the country to win the Senate. But look, Michigan currently is held by a Democrat. The Democrat's retiring. If the Democrats lose Michigan, they need to flip 5 red seats. There are many people who think they may not be able to get 4. If they've got to get 5, I don't know anyone out there who thinks they can.
All right, Steve Kornacki, always appreciate the insight, sir. We're going to see Steve tonight for live coverage of the results starting at 9 p.m.
The day to die with Steve Kornacki.
It's the election that could herald the future of...
So refreshing that you don't grovel at the feet of your opposition like liberals do, to be honest. I will never do that. Again, for most, their criticisms mean nothing because I've seen what they champion, okay? Their boos mean nothing, for I have seen what makes them cheer. It does not mean anything to me, okay? I have to deal with the institutional Democratic Party. I have to deal with DC consultants. I have to deal with the full weight of the MAGA movement with its apparatus of propaganda on Fox News every fucking day. You think some sweaty fucking loser who read too much theory and misunderstood it is gonna fucking bother me? What are you, crazy? one of perhaps the most irrelevant forces in American politics. Who gives a shit? Lock in. It is important for them to change their minds and recognize the moment. Not important for me. They do not understand what is at stake. Okay? How can we create solidarity with true revolutionary socialists then? Okay, we're done. We're done with this conversation. We're done.
The Democrat.
True revolutionary socialism is not your book club, okay? It's just not. Sorry. Just keep organizing and build the vanguard. I will be there for you when you do, okay?
Party.
It has now become an election of national significance.
Today's Senate primary in Michigan pits progressive Abdul El-Sayed against moderate Congresswoman Haley Stevens. El-Sayed is running on a platform that includes Medicare for all and abolishing ICE. He's been endorsed by Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
ICE cannot be reformed. ICE cannot be
Hey, this is from our rally.
trained. ICE needs to be abolished.
El-Sayed has been the target of attacks, not just from Republicans, but from establishment Democrats, too.
If you're Chuck Schumer
Lashinoise was prophetic. Oh, that's so what a fucking pull. Holy shit. What a pull, dude. God damn.
and want to keep doling out corporate money to elect people who are going to do your bidding, I am so damn dangerous.
That establishment, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, is lining up behind Stevens.
Is that how you say
a
it?
pro-Israel group and its affiliates have also
Chinois.
spent nearly $30 million backing Stevens. Israel has divided the candidates. El-Sayed has called the war in Gaza a genocide and accuses Stevens of being a reliable pro-Israel vote. But as
So people are asking, and by that I mean Little Bear, does anyone know when we can start to see the results, aka when the polls close? Please present me with an hour estimate. I do not understand Yank time zones. So polls close at 8 p.m. Michigan time, which is going to be in approximately it's about to be 5, so 3 hours from now. Okay? However, we don't know how fast the vote tabulations will come in, how fast the calculation will be, but I will say this. Depending on the projections, if Abdul is a blowout from the start, if it's an early blowout, we will know by 9 p.m., so like 1 hour after polls close. But it's entirely dependent on what the turnout looks like, what the exit polls look like, to make a determined prediction, a determined projection. We will most likely be able to project a winner fairly early on if Abdul's turnout is crazy. Okay? Pretty sure race can't be called until the 4 central time counties in the UP close. Here is Zachary Domini, okay, the poll nerds over at Vote Hub. El-Sayed versus Stevens, election night expectations. Polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern, but Michigan is a marathon. In 2024, only 15% of ballots were counted by 10 p.m., 50% by midnight, and 75% by 2 a.m. It may be faster tonight, but no promises. A close race could remain uncalled well into the morning, but if El-Sayed is headed for a comfortable victory, a call could come in the 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern hour. My turnout projection is 1.5 million votes, 90,000 early votes, 800,000 mail ballots, and 635,000 election day votes. Michigan's reporting process adds another layer of uncertainty as counties can release vote methods in different orders. Absentee ballots are broadly expected to be released before election day votes with newer pre-processing rules, but some jurisdictions, such as Ann Arbor City and Midland County, have historically reported E-Day votes before absentee ballots. Election day voting should be substantially stronger for El-Sayed, while the absentee electorate is much older and should be better for Stevens. His relatively strong polling compared to other progressives among older white voters is a major reason he remains the heavy favorite, but absentee-heavy initial returns could still make the race look competitive. If El-Sayed is on track to win the absentee vote statewide, the race is over. If Stevens wins absentee voters, however, it may take until around 11 p.m. for the expected election day shift to manifest enough for a call. So there will be a red mirage potentially. I don't expect there to be a red mirage potentially. That's why I said it's important about turnout, because as vote, thank you, that was very detailed and very understandable for us non-Yanks. Yes, as Zachary Donini has also, red mirage, as in like Haley being the red Haley being the Republican adjacent, the conservative in this race. So there could be a Stevens mirage early on, depending on turnout, where it's coming from. If it's from Wayne County, Detroit, early voters, that's going to favor older black voters. There is a higher likelihood that those votes will go to Haley Stevens, adjusted to the rest of the counties where there are a lot of older white voters. So we shall see. But like I said, given the polling has been so consistently in favor of Abdul Al-Sayed for a very long time, the likelihood of a mirage is also still low. For instance, Detroit City's absentee vote and Oakland County's absentee vote could be among the first major returns tonight. In a tied race, our targets for Stevens in these drops are roughly 40-point win in Detroit and 35-point win in Oakland absentee ballots. Okay? Like, do you understand? In order for this to be even in a tied race, Haley Stevens has to put up 40 points over Abdul in the Detroit absentee ballots and 35 points on Abdul in Oakland absentee ballots. So even a 20-point lead in both would be something we would expect to see in a comfortable win for Abdul Al-Sayed. Remember, if the absentee ballots come out from Detroit and Oakland early on, and Haley Stevens is only leading by 20 points, that's a comfortable victory for Abdul. Okay? This is part of the reason why I think the call will perhaps come fairly early on in the night. That's the expectation, at least. Yeah, in Lansing, Michigan, a pollster said it was the most amount of young folks she's seen vote in person in this precinct. I want you to remember that. You're showing up big. Many of you who are either watching or have watched in the past, you're showing up big today. And it's fucking important. We're delivering a goddamn message. Okay? And it's not just a national message. This is a message that will have reverberations internationally. Okay? Remember that. Meanwhile, I'm out here like a fucking dumbass arguing with like the 8 remaining trots and the 1 PSL guy that someone fucking knows. What's wrong with me? Sometimes I have to remember where I'm at in my career, where we are at in this fucking movement. Meanwhile, I'm literally listening to people who are chirping, as this community is a part of making history. This community will have played a role in making history, and I'm over here fucking listening to goddamn chirpers who want to fucking fire off clips that might make its way to Fox News. The fuck is wrong with me? Yeah. Israel comes to me in my dreams. How about healthcare comes to me in my dreams? Okay. Medicare for all comes to me in my dreams. Data for Progress poll. Ann Arbor Dem primary voters under the age of 45. Haley Stevens, disapproval -59 net. 77% disapproval, 18% approval. Abdul Al-Sayed, approval 83%, plus 71. Disapproval 12%. Those are the fucking weirdo Twitter fans. Okay, that's that 12%. Those are the I can't believe Abdul Al-Sayed. This the 12% disapproval of Abdul Al-Sayed for voters under the age of 45 happened to be 100% of the Twitter chirpers. 100% of the Twitter chirpers. Okay? They are literally nowhere in the real world and everywhere online. I'm being so for real. Your stream for Donovan McKinney made me love him so much as a candidate. He had amazing vibes and policy, obviously, the whole time, and was such a charismatic figure. And without your stream, we would have never gotten to engage with him in any capacity. Yes. The Max Miller debacle gets worse. His ex-wife's lawyers say he shared pictures of her daughter's genitals to 200K plus people as a part of his Dropbox effort. Oh my God. Yeah. In April 2026 Echelon poll, among respondents who had an opinion of each person, Hassan had lower favorability rating than Candace Owens, though only 22% of respondents had an opinion on Hassan. I said extremely online take masquerading as sound critique. If they really think you're such a detriment, they shouldn't care if you campaign with more candidates, law. Yeah. Isn't this more of an offline take that your chat plus Twitter are actually a small bubble compared with broadcast TV hosts, since only 22% of people had an opinion of you? These people do not understand. These campaigns at the end of the day, maybe Abdul's a little bit different, but these campaigns at the end of the day, they poll me. They poll me in the district. They poll me for the primaries. They poll me for the general. These guys on the fucking internet are too stupid to understand that. They are making the calculation. Like, they're making that cold calculation. Do you think a guy like Vincent hasn't polled me for every single fucking campaign that I've played a role in? Are you stupid? Of course they poll me to see if the voters have a favorable opinion of me or a negative opinion of me. These are real, serious political campaigns, you fucking idiots. Of course they poll me to make that calculation. What does this community provide? There's obviously a secret special sauce beyond that, and Abdul leaning into it clearly benefited him. But it's kind of funny that these fucking idiots on election Twitter, half of them are from Europe, by the way, okay, are just like, these guys are making a real mistake. Okay, well, good thing they didn't fucking listen to your dumbass, okay? Motherfucker from Estonia who's like really obsessed with Kalamazoo results for some fucking weird reason. It's so funny. Like, could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine if I was like, honestly, the results in Idaviru County, capital Jovi, are very important to me in the upcoming Estonian elections. Like I don't do that to you. So why the fuck are you doing that to me? Shut the fuck up. You live in Estonia. You live in Polva County, okay? Or maybe Pärnu County. Do you see me? Do you see me talking about the Estonian local comptroller elections? Well, I don't know. I don't know if Pärnu County will find it favorable that there is such a radical comptroller running. Shut the fuck up. It's so funny, man. Estonians on election Twitter be like, yeah, I don't know, man. I ran the numbers. I don't really like how Hassan is seen in the Upper Peninsula, actually. It was a real mistake for Abdul to fucking link up with him. Bro's about to put up fucking LeBron numbers in a race where they dumped $80 million against him, and you act like you know better. What are you talking about? Maybe you just don't know. Now, of course, this isn't to say that American elections don't matter to the rest of the world. Of course it does. That's why a lot of people pay attention to it. But election Twitter is a little bit different. This is their autistic fancy. This is their autistic hyperfixation. Okay? So you're coping when you say, well, to be fair, you know, Estonia can't tariff or invade America, but America could do the same to Estonia. Yeah, I know. But there's a difference between paying close attention to the American races and then making takes all the way from fucking Estonia from your liberal framework. Maybe you don't understand what's going on the ground. And maybe all of the readily available information is actually screaming at you that perhaps I know something you don't, but you're still fucking trying to desperately reconfirm your goddamn priors. Okay? That's what's so fucking annoying about election Twitter, is that they're from all over the world, but they don't understand that sometimes making bold decisions actually plays very well. And in this race specifically, Abdul could have easily seen the heat and pulled out. Okay? But the very fact that he didn't do that actually rewarded him, and it rewarded him in noticeable ways. So why are we still having this fucking conversation off of like hard data that I looked at? Sometimes there is things beyond the polls. Okay? I think they're just interested in politics generally. I think they're harmless since nobody outside election Twitter is aware of them. I know. I'm the only one who gets annoyed by them. I'm the only one who gets bothered by them. We've won some of them over, thank God, like you, Michigan voter. But again, ultimately harmless, ultimately irrelevant. But like, what's frustrating to me is when someone is wrong. What's frustrating to me is when someone is wrong, but they just keep behaving in this hard-headed manner. Okay, this hard-headed manner where they're like, no, I am going to desperately reconfirm my priors. How can you look at unpredictable outcomes that data is not bearing out, as far as like unbelievable, unprecedented youth turnout, for example, and even like noticeable peaks in the polling that came after Abdul just looked more like a fighter for the causes he cares about, and then still commit to being so stubborn and so wrong. Yeah, to a lesser extent, we saw the same delusion when the Channel 4 reporter asked if your UK ban might affect Abdul's campaign. Yeah. I need you guys to understand something. Sometimes we have a tendency to be trapped in our own bubble. Sometimes there's an argument that is crafted so perfectly that it piques your interest and you can't see the world outside of it. One example that I want to move away from the Abdul El-Sayed race is Francesca Hong. On Twitter, you would think that Francesca Hong's chances are done. She's dusted. It's over. That she's not the clear and present frontrunner in this Wisconsin gubernatorial primary. Because on Twitter, everyone's got the knives out for her. She's too woke. She tweets so much. And I get why people who tweet all the fucking time would care and place a lot of emphasis on tweets. Okay? In the real world, when we were door knocking, when we were canvassing for Francesca Hong, I didn't hear a single damn person be like, well, you know, I was going to vote for her. But honestly, I don't know if she's electable. Why? Because she tweets. She tweeted woke things. Okay? She tweeted woke things in 2018 and 2020. Okay? No one makes this calculation, and yet, for some weird reason, everyone on Twitter is obsessed. And then Twitter is always the editor-in-chief of every newsroom in this goddamn country in all of these fucking mainstream outlets. So then that Twitter discourse turns into mainstream discourse. And then all we talk about is like Francesca Hong's fucking tweets. Okay? I think people need to pull their heads out of their fucking asses and lock in on what is far more important to the voters. Okay? I don't think people care as much about old tweets. Okay? And I know Cloud District Enjoyer is one of those guys. We have tried to reform him over and over again. You got to kill that tendency in your brain that says, I saw this is a big deal. I worry about her chances in the general. Okay? Dog. In the rural countryside where Francesca is going to shock the world, I promise you, the fucking houses that put up MAGA lawn signs and then put up Francesca Hong lawn signs are not worried about what she said about Thanksgiving. They're worried about the data center that's being built on top of their farmland. Okay? Especially at a time when Donald Trump is the fucking president and perhaps the most impactful political figure of this past decade. Please pull your fucking head that is lodged inside of your asshole outside of your asshole. Okay? Please. This concern is not a relevant one. I promise you. I don't know how I can convince you guys, but there is this election Twitter liberal tendency. We all get our notes from the people that we read. It's not just election Twitter. It's the Matty Iglesias tendency. It's the centrist Democrat electability argument. Oh, I like her policies, but I'm worried about what other people will say about her. This was a real fear for Abdul too. Okay? I'm not concerned about her chances in the primary. I'm a little concerned about her chances in the general, not because the independents and Democrats won't vote for her, but because Republican voters are online culture warriors and will turn out higher than otherwise. No, they won't. No, they won't. In the era of Donald Trump, what is a more important force? Close your eyes and think for a moment. In the era of Donald Trump, yes, Republicans are culture warriors and they're extremely online. This is true. But first of all, there's a couple problems with that. Tom Tiffany, not very strong. Okay, so that's number one. Tom Tiffany is not exactly like even a Ken Paxton figure, right? Where he's not able to captivate the Trumpian sentiment in the same way. I mean, he does the fucking the yokel shtick himself, right? And Scott Walker did that and was very successful, but that was a different time regardless. Okay, but in the era of Trump, do you think the Trump voters are going to be motivated to vote for something or against something when their number one priorities are going to be the cost of living crisis? Their number one priorities are going to be the data centers in their fucking backyards. You think they're going to vote for Tiffany? Boring ass Tom Tiffany? Fuck no. They're not. We're falling victim to what we see in our immediate circles. Republican voters are cattle. I'm sorry, they will vote to kill themselves if they sniff a culture war. You're right. But again, this is politics, and elections are a game of percentages. Okay? They are a game of percentages. You need to understand this. It's not about the entire base. Trump's not on the ticket, and Trump is also unfathomably unpopular. It's a +7 national race for the Democrats currently. So all of that is already in the fucking equation. Yeah. Everyone on the site makes too much of shit like this because it's easy to referee as bad. Sure, it's bad, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. Who are the people voting on how she answers the Thanksgiving question really? Half of the site's political commentary are just dudes playing American Idol judge on interview clips. It's fun, but come on, bros. Let's have a little humility and admit we're just kind of going off vibes. Also, can we just be honest and say we don't like the answer? Yeah. That's it. That's the argument. You don't personally like the answer. You think there's a better way to answer it. I don't even necessarily disagree with you, but in the long run, this is not going to be a problem. Okay? It's not. It's a little too Madison. I understand that. It's a little too Madison, but we are greatly overemphasizing how this is going to read, how this is going to be a major attack ad. Oh, old tweets this, old tweets that. There is a very effective counter to that. Okay? As long as the messaging from Francesca is a little bit more airtight and she uses the additional attention that her campaign is going to get, and it's already started, to reframe the issues around affordability over and over again and say, like, this is exactly why the media class is despised by the overwhelming majority of folks. She's good, okay? So I said, you will see anti-Hong statements coming in hot after tonight's results from Republicans and Democrats. They will focus on our electability. Remember that it's all bullshit, just like with Zoran and the rest of the insurgent left. They do not fear our failure, but our success. Actually, I fear her failure because I think letting an election denier be the helm of a crucial swing state in 2028 is a very bad idea. I don't disagree with you. You're arguing against the position that I do not hold. Okay? You're just reframing the electability message in a different format. This is the electability message. You're being duped by people who have the fear of Francesca Hong's success. Okay? One like 88 views? No, this just came down. This person is probably in the fucking chat and heard me go on a long tangent about how annoyed I am with like election Twitter fucking dipshits who have never understood what it means to have moral conviction and actually run on a principled position, even if you don't fully fucking agree with this. Okay? Republicans and establishment Democrats want you to fear that Francesca Hong has no shot because her primary is not happening right now. Her primary is going to fucking happen next week. This is why being dumb as a rock is OP. Republicans convince them that they are dumb as a rock to the progressives, and then the progressives get paranoid about electability and everything they say to not offend the Republicans is not that important. Yes. I said the same thing, by the way. I wasn't the biggest fan of her message on this one. You know, it's not great. It's not. Like I said, it's too Madison. It's far too Madison. I said, but I think the far bigger problem here is the fact that people are still focusing on old woke tweets than the way that Francesca responded here.
You know, you talked about your past positions that he keeps highlighting and, you know, obviously likely would continue to do so before November should you win. One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal.
By the way, another thing that people need to understand is that she is so affable. She is so goddamn personable. That's the other problem for like the autistic Twitter hyperfixators, is that like this in Wisconsin is literally fucking Biscoff cookie butter. Okay? I'm not even joking when I say this. Brother, I have seen her work the rooms and state fairs. Okay? Even the most annoying fucking psychotic Republican, when faced with Francesca Hong's personality, melts. Okay? This shit, for the cold, hard, calculated Pete Buttigieg lovers, okay, is the worst possible answer. For the cold, hard, calculated Pete Buttigieg lovers, who are, you know, a dime a dozen on fucking Twitter, this is the opposite. This is the reverse, right? You're like, what? What do you mean you're 16 and you were fucking cooking at Thanksgiving? Just say no. Just lie. Right? That's the expectation. And yes, Edinger Mentum, to a certain degree, is that guy. 100%. Okay? I love Edinger Mentum, but he is Mr. John Ossoff's strongest soldier, and it is exactly the take. Okay? Even if there's some truth to the sentiment that this is a very Madison, Wisconsin take. Okay? This is every election understander forgets that there are forces beyond their comprehension. It's not always hard data, and it's not always who's the best on paper. Okay? I'll give you an example of this to a certain degree. The people who really love John Ossoff but don't like Pete Buttigieg. The only reason why they don't like Pete Buttigieg is because Pete Buttigieg has shown in those, election polls that he cannot win over black folk. And if you can't win black voters, if you're 0% with black voters, you're not going to ever be the candidate. So that's the only reason why they don't like Pete Buttigieg. They're at least smart enough not to like him, but they still like John Ossoff. Why? Because John Ossoff is popular in Georgia, popular among black voters in Georgia as well. I like John Ossoff too, make no mistake. He is, I don't like his policies. I like the concept of John Ossoff more than I like the policies. That's why I've always said, it's entirely dependent on how he carries himself going forward. If Zaid hears you, this will start a civil war on Twitter. I know. Zaid is John Ossoff's strongest warrior. He's got a little man crush on him. It's fine. I'm going to make a fucking bold take and tell you something. If there's a Democratic senator from Georgia that I would prefer, his name is Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock from 2018. Give me liberty or give me death. Give me Raphael Warnock from 2018 or give me nothing. Radical, liberal Raphael Warnock. That's the real truth, Nuke. That's the real fucking truth that you guys are not ready for. Okay? But anyway, these are all silly conversations that we're having. Central Committee is going to Brian Kilmeade. I think Central Committee would agree with this. Michael from Pennsylvania would agree with the thing that I said. If we're getting a senator from Georgia, I'd rather it be 2018 Raphael Warnock. Why would he disagree with that? 2018 Raphael Warnock was beast mode. Anyway, all of this stuff is stupid anyway. It's too far out.
I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7-8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so,
Like, you want to know what Francesca Hong's problem is? She's too not like a real politician and too much like an organizer. That's it. She's an organizer. That's the problem. And people want a politician. Zoran was able to dance between the two so well and actually really boost the politician in him because he had that edge. But Zoran's running in New York City. Wisconsin's a different story. And a lot of people, I think, want Francesca Hong to be this like cold, calculated killer like Zoran. There's a reason why all these fucking libtards love Zoran now, okay? It's because he's catnip for the libtards. He's able to carry himself in this like cold and calculated manner that they fucking love. Wisconsin is not New York City. Now, you'll say, exactly, that's our point. Wisconsin is filled to the brim with reactionary monsters. It's a swing state after all. I say, with Francesca's ground game, you won't know. You said this in your speech.
In deep blue districts, you can only win in Denver because it's deep blue, it's young. You can't win in swing states. Well, I say we are going to prove them wrong. Not only are we going to run up the numbers for Francesca Hong on August 11th, but we are going to take that victory to the general election to make sure that the Republican Tom Tiffany never gets a seat of power ever again.
Abdul Al-Sayed shows me his whoop recovery score and said he wanted to make sure I noted his weightlifting. Dude, that's so funny. We just remember we just had this conversation. That's crazy, by the way. He still gets fucking 6 hours of sleep is wild to me. That is wild. He has better, bro. I've been losing more sleep on this fucking campaign than he has. What the hell? I think the thing about this clip is that it's not really woke 2.0. It's more like woke 1.0. I think it's almost anyone who wants this type of fighter. Hong could totally be fine if she laughed it off and said, I think Wisconsinites celebrate Thanksgiving for a variety of reasons. It's time for families to get together. Yeah, my argument, like if I'm in her shoes and I tweeted something like, oh, fucking, you should go to prison if you celebrate Thanksgiving or whatever, right? You know, in my peak woke era. Okay? You know what I would respond to it right now if I'm running? If I'm Francesca, okay? They ask me this question, I just laugh and I say, yeah, you know the real problem with Thanksgiving now is how much Trump has made life unfucking bearable, okay? Thanksgiving is not getting canceled because of my fucking tweets from 2018. It's getting canceled because Trump has made it impossible to exist. He's made the cost of living crisis far worse. And to add to that, this is at the heart of why people get frustrated with mainstream media, because you bring up my tweets from 2018 when the president is currently tweeting that he's going to do a genocide in Iran and actually follows through on that death and destruction campaign that makes Thanksgiving impossible to pay for. That's what I'm fighting against. To make Thanksgiving affordable, to make sure that people can put food on their tables. That's exactly what Tom Tiffany is advancing. Okay? Just don't fucking play defense. Just flip it. Flip it, bring it back to affordability and move on. That's it. That's it.
So I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef, will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
Francesca Hong, thank you for joining us. We hope to...
Yeah, she's too nice. That's it. That's the problem. And it's not just Minnesota nice, it's Wisconsin nice too. And I don't think this plays as poorly as people think it does. It plays poorly to the fucking bicoastal elites who literally are just like, no, you don't understand. I know the hogs. I know the hogs in Wisconsin. They're going to hear this and they're going to want to kill her. Okay? My only notes on this is don't be so nice and reframe the question back to an issue that you can hit Tom Tiffany on. Always reframe back to your policies. Identify what your policies are and always hit those notes. That's the only lesson to learn from Zoran. Not everything else, not the aesthetics.
Have you back?
But just the intellectual judo that he played over and over again so effectively. Because this is a gift. Okay? Here's the thing. This is a gift. Any opportunity that you have because of these controversies, these fucking fake, stupid-ass controversies, is an opportunity that is unbelievably valuable. You're on mainstream media. They're trying to attack you. You're going to look clever, and you're going to remind people. Messaging discipline. You're going to remind people what you're running for. Okay? It's a gift. Abdul played it very well. Right? Abdul played it very well. Abdul asked me to stomp for him. I came out. I didn't realize it was going to be a big issue. Right? He came out from. I came out for him. I stomped for him. All of a sudden, there was tremendous amounts of media attention on the race. What did Abdul do? Did he sit there and go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I brought this dangerous radical. I brought this dangerous radical to Lansing. I brought this dangerous radical to Ann Arbor. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Is that what he did? No. He did not allow the oppositional framing to take root. He said, one, we're supposed to be everywhere and speaking to everybody. So the idea that this person is like too dangerous for me to align with is ridiculous. He has a massive audience. A lot of young people listen to what he has to say. I'm going to fucking capture the attention of those folks. This is why we lost as Democrats in 2024. We can't repeat that mistake. And then he turned around. And talked about his issues. He turned around and talked about his issues every single time. He used that opportunity in the spotlight to make the centerpiece of that conversation his policy platform. People don't care about Hassan Piker one way or another. You know what people care about? You know what people ask me? I go all up and down this. I've done 475 town halls. And you know what people ask me about? They don't say, why did you hang out with Hassan Piker? They say, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to solve the affordability crisis? Can you help me get health care? Perfect. Beautiful. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to fucking do. And in that regard, I would go so far as to say Abdul's even better than Zoran on that front, because that shows that you're a fucking straight up fighter. Okay? Oh, okay, Jay Mershon. Check previous. You misunderstand. You're wrong on this take on this stuff. She's saying that Thanksgiving is a hard time for some people because some people decide to feed their families with kalbi, with cheese instead of the normal stuff. Stop being dense, man. She's doing her best during this time. Lived in the Midwest. The mindset can't be to figure out how to answer the questions being asked. You have to figure out how to use it to talk about your core message. I lived in the Midwest for 5+ years. This doesn't play great to the average Midwest should, but it's not fatal or anything. I know. We live in a post-Trump universe. You could have tweeted whatever the fuck you want. It is not irredeemable. It will never kill your chances. Okay? That's it. As long as you are resilient and stay on message and reframe everything to suit the broader policies that you are going to deliver on and how are you going to help people. Nobody gives a fuck about woke 1.0 tweets beyond, media fancy, media hyperfixations on previous things that you have said. Doors open.
One thing about Francesca's race that we need to do a better job of is find those 3 things that we stick to like a fly on shit. And every conversation comes back to them. Every time someone tries to distract you from the point, be like, stop distracting us from the issues that actually matter. And be like, old tweets. Who gives a shit about old tweets? I think every single person watching has a post they made on a social media site that they regret or they don't agree with now.
I agree.
It's not, who gives a crap? Like, please, let's move on and talk about the shit that matters. They did the same stuff with the Zoran in New York City.
Now imagine if he shaved and maybe cut his hair a little bit shorter and was wearing a suit. you would listen to what he's saying a lot more, right? That's what I think.
They kept trying to bring up old tweets, and now he's in office and he's filled in 200,000 potholes. That's the type of rep I'm going to be. Freeze the rent is very, like, that is a cadence.
Hong needs to log in because you know K-File's coming out with an article in a few days. He already did. You can run from it, but K-File will arrive nonetheless, okay? If you ever even thought he is the Isaac Chodener of old tweets, okay? You might think in your mind, oh, I deleted these tweets. You might even think, oh, I wanted to maybe draft a tweet, but I never actually hit send on it. K-File will find it, but it doesn't matter, okay? You might have thought, oh, I left that tweet in the drafts. I never tweeted it out. No! Andrew motherfucking K-File will find a tweet that you drafted, and it will be a CNN article. It's just what it is. It is what it is. It's just death, taxes, and a K-File CNN article about your deleted tweets. So it's not about tweets that you have tweeted in the past. It's about how you reframe the conversation. Use it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity. These are all opportunities, folks. Remember. What am I telling you? Every moment that you have in the spotlight in mainstream media is a moment of opportunity for you to deliver your platform to a much broader audience. To a much broader audience. That's it.
Stop data centers. Boom, bam, boom. That's good. We need more of that. Free childcare. Stop data centers. Focus on the things that, and make that stick in people's mind. Francesca Hong should be stop data center, free childcare. Save our schools. Like boom, 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 boom. Stop Donald Trump. Save our schools. Free childcare. Stop data centers. Boom, boom, boom.
Anyway. Some days I hate the suit era, and then I'll remember how he used to dress is true. There's a broader point to be made about leftists constantly playing defense instead of attacking. Yeah, I think we have to be unapologetic. I am in favor of I'm in favor of my socialists being unapologetic. Okay? Have a little bit more swag, have a little bit more riz, be a little bit more unapologetic. And use every opportunity that you have. Use every opportunity that you have in the spotlight to push. To push. Here, I'll give you an example. 9/11. In 2019, I said America deserved it. In that same conversation, I explained what my position was. I said, we brought it upon ourselves with our actions in the Middle East. That second part never got released in mainstream news, only the first part. 2 days after that, I went on the Young Turks and I apologized for the language that I used. It described what my position was, and I apologized for using the word deserved. That was 7 years ago. 7 years after the fact, people still constantly fucking use it to present me as a radical Al-Qaeda supporter. At a time when the Trump administration is giving the country, perhaps most responsible for 9/11, an opportunity to develop nuclear arms. This is a testament to the ineffectiveness of apologies. No one cares. No one. And I mean, no one cares about your apology, because the people that hear you say that, if they care to understand your position, they will understand it. Most of the people who still try to make a big deal out of it are doing so cynically. They're weaponizing the memory of 9/11 to attack Muslims, which is ironically exactly what the American government did at the time. The Bush administration did at the time, to kickstart the global war on terror, to attack Afghanistan, to attack Iraq. They weaponized the death and destruction to deliver devastating blow after devastating blow to people who had nothing to do with 9/11. If you really feel the need to apologize for something, it's going to make you feel better. Understand that you're only apologizing for yourself and for your own conscience. You're not apologizing to make people understand your new position or anything like that. Okay? No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. Your enemies will always cynically weaponize your past statements. So stop apologizing and start campaigning on your policies. Start telling people, use the opportunity that you have in the spotlight to frame the conversation back to what you will deliver and what your opponent fails to deliver. JT Sestkowski. What's going on? Oh, I didn't see your text. You sent me a text message? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. JT Sestkowski says, I was at a polling place in Northwest Detroit where Haley Stevens was supposed to appear. She canceled after running late. Her staff says she's not doing any more public appearances today. Yeah, because she's cooked was the diagnosis of a campaign volunteer standing near me. Oof. Not good. Not good. Well, I mean, great for democracy, great for America first. We're America firsters. We're the true America firsters. Okay? We are the real America firsters, not them. Not Trump. And certainly not Haley Stevens. The only thing surprising about that was that there was a Haley Stevens volunteer there. That's not surprising. They have a lot of money. They got a lot of money. We are the ones who carry the flame, folks. Remember that. Your influence is reaching Poland? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? I wish I knew what they were saying. I wish I could understand this language. Kurwa! How do I translate on this page? There's a translate button? Oh, right here. There is one. If you want to defeat the right, adopt their style and fill it with leftist content without looking to mainstream media. Such a recipe for the attractiveness of Trumpism and the manosphere is prescribed by the left-wing political super influencer Hassan Piker. It wasn't a Stevens volunteer. Oh. Just for clarity, the volunteer was for a different campaign. What's good? Not Stevens. Yeah, great. Here, you want to pull it further. Pull it over there to stay out of frame. Just, yeah. No, I don't want you in frame. Super influencer. Haley voters say they won't vote for Abdul. Reporting in West Bloomfield, Haley Stevens' district. I'm encountering people who would vote for Mike Rogers if Abdul El-Say wins. Yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah, uncommitted. Uncommitted movement, baby. It's back. But this time, for literally no reason whatsoever. Yeah, who gives a shit? What is this, bro? I'm dying. This is the funniest shit. Here's what the new sticker of shame looks like. It was quite sticky and difficult to pull off. This vehicle violated New York City street cleaning rules. As a result, the street could not be properly cleaned. Scary how history repeats itself. That's... Come on, man. Come on, guys. The motherfucking ADL's after me, and you're over here showing joking or sincere comparisons to the to the yellow armband. Why are you dressing like a tortilla today? What? Jesus Christ. Geeks only. What is this? Hassan Piker says he's looking forward to... Dude, Austin Ox. Come on, man. I did not say that. Please delete this fucking tweet. This is such a dumbass tweet. I shouldn't have even looked at it. God damn it. Dude, don't post shit like that, please. Come on. Please lock in. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Please, brother, please. This is like a campaign with international attention. This has been your message for months.
My opponent thinks better things are possible. Ha! Yeah, good luck winning the primary with that message. Yeah, good luck winning the general with that message. Yeah, good luck winning the presidency with... We just can't simply afford to give everyone free everything. Because we got to send that money right to Tel Aviv. My opponent is crazy. He wants free everything, free everything. That pales in comparison to my policies, which are... Can we run a focus group really fast? My slogan is not Republican. Asterisk. My opponent is a sexist. One time, he disagreed with Michelle Obama. Somebody call the misogyny police because we're making arrests. My opponent's a socialist. You know who else is a socialist? My father, and he didn't like me that much, so I really hate this guy.
Wow, give this guy's the front runner, I think. We poll tested this, and it actually worked in every state, including the most important one, the state of Israel. Anyway, let's get back to the race.
Critics accuse him of fueling anti-Semitism.
Nobody will fight harder against anti-Semitism than somebody who intimately understands what it's like to be discriminated against because of how I pray.
Stevens calls herself a proud pro-Israel Democrat and says she won't allow outside money to buy her vote.
I have been very clear, consistent, and transparent, and I have continued to be. I want to see long-term peace. I want to see a two-state solution.
El Sayed has a double-digit lead in the polls, but when it comes to the general election, polls show Stevens running stronger against the Republican candidate, Mike Rogers.
Early morning voters in what's become the most expensive Democratic primary in U.S. race history. It's being seen as a fight for the very soul of the party.
I think we need to throw out the whole system.
Found your outfit of the day inspo? Come on, bro. Poliver vows to fight woke culture following new galactic disco cowboy makeover. Dude, you guys are fucked up. I'm wearing this outfit because of this tie, okay? Jesus Christ. I had a totally different outfit that I was going to wear today, okay? I was going to wear the Matty Maroon. The maroon jacket in honor of Matty Maroon. But I'm wearing the cream because I got this tie. Stop cooking me. God damn it. You guys, is this the Bill O'Reilly power hour? Everyone's coming after my tan suit like I'm Obama, dude. What the fuck? God damn it. To be fair, you look like you're going to play croquet in Connecticut with the heir to Morgan Stanley. Okay, fine. Yeah, I am. Okay. I am, dude. It's Gordie Howe Bridge time. Behind me is the Gordie Howe Bridge. Matty Maroon, Trump's biggest donor. At least you have other clothes. Bro, yes, I have more than one article of clothing that I own, yes. Try to be like, check your privilege. Some people only own one piece of clothing, one article.
Yeah, and redo it.
Chatter hit me with the "there's starving children in Africa" line.
Got to be a Democrat that is opposing all of the things that have happened so far with Trump in office.
Who will be on the ticket to replace Michigan's retiring Democratic senator?
We are ready for change.
It matters for two reasons. The party needs this seat if they're to retake the Senate. But perhaps more importantly, this race has come to represent the wider ideological clash within the Democrats as they debate which direction they should take.
This is the lady that was bird dogging me. This is my bird dog. Dude, that interview was so good, low key.
Into the next election. The question has led to deep divisions and disunity within the party, and the answer will have huge implications, not just here, but across the country.
Abdul El Sayed grew up as Michigan as you get.
The choice? An insurgent progressive Muslim doctor, or
I'm Haley Stevens, and I'm so proud to be from Michigan.
an experienced establishment-backed centrist.
Today, we're getting screwed, and the billionaire class gets richer. Trump's
It's drawn national attention and become one of the most expensive and contentious of contests.
Our next U.S. Senator, Abdul El-Sayed.
A packed community centre on Rosa Parks Boulevard. We're at Al-Sayed's last rally before the polls open. Hugely.
By the way, that rally was beast mode. His speech, his like closing speech was so fucking good, dude. Holy shit. He's also playing the dude, like after Abe said just copy Obama as a argument or as a tip for Zoran, I realized like yeah, he might be probably the most like skilled orator of our generation as a political talent, and everyone does kind of do it in their own way. And Abdul definitely was hitting the Obama lines too, but it was so fucking good. Like, can you imagine, dude? I'm thinking of like Haley Stevens doing a similar argument. No, this is not new. This is an old Gustavo take. This is from the last time Gustavo was on Fox News. They're just reheating it. They're reheating his old nachos. Can you imagine like Abdul El-Sayed's speech about how like, look, America is the land of promise, certainly, but there's also a lot of work that we've put in, a lot of struggle that we put in along the way in our 250-year history, and there's no reason to lie about it. Actually, we should take ownership over those setbacks and the ownership over those victories, right? And our work continues, our struggle continues, you know, all this stuff. I'm thinking like, what would Haley Stevens' like closing speech be? And we know what it is. It was literally, they had a Maoist pool party. They had a Maoist at the pool party. Maddie Maroon. Like, Israel comes to me in my dreams. Her closing speech is going to as many districts as possible and then quitting while she's, you know, when she realizes that she doesn't have it. And basically telling all the people that are walking up to the polls, hey, now that I have your attention, did you know Abdul was hanging out at a pool party with Mao's biggest donor, Hassan Piker, Maddie Maroon? Like, dude, even if I was like, yeah, I was going to vote for you, but I heard that and now I'm voting for whoever is in opposition to whatever the fuck you're saying. Like, what a horrifyingly bad closing message, dude. And it is so funny because, like, centrist Democrats, establishment Democrats for years and years told us, centrist Democrats told us that we were extremely online, that our policies do not work in the real world. It's just like only in academic circles. Only in academic circles do our policies work, right? Like that was the argument. Only in Twitter do our policies work. It's too pie in the sky, these idealistic concepts like better things are possible, right? Meanwhile, the closing message of Maddie Maroon, Trump's biggest donor, is literally, well, my opponent had a Maoist pool party with Hassan Piker. That is literally the most online message you can end a fucking campaign on, especially when your goal is to captivate the 65-plus-year-olds. They do not know who the fuck I am. It's crazy. Network connection loss. Please reload your browser window. They took it down because it was embarrassing. Haley Stevens urges rival to distance himself from Hassan Piker. Yo, when you're slated to lose by 20, you probably shouldn't be giving any advice, let alone that advice. Especially when the other person in the race literally leaned into that exact same message and had to literally drop out a couple weeks ago. This you, bro? Stop with the slander. Mark Levin is writing about you like a bad ex. The Hassan Puker Democrats. Will the Democrats be wearing Mao uniforms at rallies like their mouthpiece, Hassan Puker? Will the Democrats be celebrating 9/11 on the 25th anniversary, which Puker said America deserved? Will the Democrats announce, like Puker, they would support Hamas over Israel every time? Why do the media cover for the Puker Democrats? What can I fucking say about that, dude? I'm just retweeting it. That's it. That's all I'm retweeting it. Not even a quote retweet. He's goated. Mark Levin, he still got it, dude. Life, Liberty, Levin. Life, Liberty, Levin, that is the great one. It's not just Sean Hannity that calls him the great one. I call him that too. I was joking a couple months ago. Hassan Piker always looks like he's constipated, including in his mouse suit. What's that all about? Wait, what? Dude, listen. Yeah, we are Levin La Vida Loca, okay? Listen. A couple months ago, I jokingly said, it kind of feels like the Republican midterm strategy is just going to be Hassan Piker sucks and everyone needs to know it. I was joking. I'm not joking anymore. I think they literally think they have nothing. This primary needs to end. Oh my God, that's gross. Okay. I'm not joking. I think they're so desperate for anything they possibly can that they unironically are making this their midterm messaging. They're so fucked. They're so cooked. Especially if like for our folks, right? For the insurgent left, like what is the primary, what is the what is the way that the insurgent left is known by? It's the policies, right? It's the motherfucking policies. It's being bold and unapologetic. And I find it really funny that like their counter to that is going to be, well, Hassan Piker sucks. And they're going to be like, okay, well, I want to give you healthcare. My opponent keeps talking about a Twitch streamer that captivates the attention of the youth. Which is a better message for you? Like, I don't think they understand that they're designing a trap for themselves. Because, like, this will only work against moderate Democrats who will be like, no, you don't understand. I hate him too. Like, they'll run around and show, they'll run around and basically show that they're scared for no reason when this is a fight election, okay? This is an election where you are going to fight back. Midterms are always supposed to be a voter's opportunity to push back against the administration. And this administration is unbelievably unfavorable, okay? So what voters are looking for is someone to just be like, yeah, dude, I don't care about this. Like, I care about fixing these problems, okay? So if moderates turn around and go, oh my God, you're so right, I hate Hassan Piker too, that's not going to look good for them. Most of the time, people don't know who the fuck I am anyway. So I'm not even saying like, oh, it's because all the Democrats love me and all the Democratic Party's base knows who I am and they love me and I'm like their number one concern, like defending me is their number one concern. I'm not saying that at all. Most people don't know who the fuck I am. But most people will hear their candidates if they actually fall into this Republican trap. Most people that actually like the candidates or know about the candidates will hear them apologize for some random fucking Twitch streamer. And they'll think, oh, well, I guess you're associated with this bad guy anyway, right? And they'll also think you're a pussy. So don't be a pussy, okay? Do not be a coward. Do not back away. Just either say, I don't know this person. I'm here for the policies. I'm here to deliver for my fucking voters, for my constituents. I'm here to punish Trump. I'm here to hold the Trump administration accountable. That's why you're voting for me. I'm not here to talk about random, tweets or whatever. And just move on. Or immediately take that argument and go, look at how unserious my opposition is. Like, this is what they're talking about. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about affordability, a crisis that's only worsened under Donald Trump when Donald Trump ran on affordability and did not deliver. That's the reason why they're talking about Twitch streamers. Like, you have to do that. If you do anything but that, well, then you're just hurting yourself for no reason. Do establishment Democrats talk about anything other than Hassan at this point? Do they really have any policies to run on? Yeah. Oh, this was Francesca Hong's opponent, David Crowley. This is what he had to say about me.
Yesterday in Milwaukee County, Hong held a rally with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Hassan Piker. Mm-hmm. In June, when Hong appeared on Piker's show as part of a fundraiser, you issued a statement criticizing that decision, saying you would not appear with him if...
Yeah, and then he had to drop out. Just saying. Like, he issued that statement, and then I think like a couple weeks after he issued that statement, he had to drop out because he was at like 5% like no non-viable candidacy.
Invited. So where do you draw the line? How do you draw the line? And what is your thought process in determining where that line is drawn?
Well, I draw the line where we are making statements just for clickbait, where we're making statements that divide us. I don't think that, I think that everybody has the right to say whatever they want. I believe in the First Amendment. But I do believe that when you're a community leader, when you're an elected leader, who you lend credibility to matters. And so we can build the broadest coalition without necessarily leading credibility to people who, in my personal opinion, is not doing any good or moving our party forward, is only focusing on dividing us, even within the Democratic Party.
Really? I'm dividing the Democratic Party, with my divisive take on Israel, which literally the entire base of the party agrees with. Okay.
And so for me, I draw the line on folks who speak destruction into reality. I draw the line on those who want to continue to divide our entire country and who don't see the big picture. Now, I don't know Hassan. I don't know his views.
Then why are you chirping? You should have just said, I don't know Hassan. I don't even know why we're talking about him. Like, even in the primaries, like, I know you're trying to attack Francesca Hong slightly, subtly, whatever, but like, even then, it's so stupid.
I've heard some of the things that really turned me off. And when I think about that, it's really about how do we create more unity? And so that's really where I draw the line.
Yeah, he says, speak destruction into reality. I'm Thanos, dude.
I want to focus on, the things that make us better. I want to focus on joy. I don't want us to be building coalitions because we hate the same thing, right? I want to build coalitions because we believe in the same thing.
These people are cowards calling for unity while calling us the enemy. Yeah. Bro, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I don't think anyone that I don't know, that I will openly admit I don't know, I would be comfortable saying is speaking destruction into reality. Okay? Like I'm some kind of alchemist. Like I'm some kind of wizard person. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm using my magic speech powers to fucking destroy reality, as he says. Ridiculous. Praveen said her children raised concerns about funding for Israel. They both were talking about the funding for Israel and their concerns with that. I just wanted to see who's going to change the trajectory of where Michigan is going. Dude, I'm telling you right now, my theory of Zoomers getting boomers out the vote is undefeated. Okay? This is it. This is it. And you will see this play itself out in the general as well. To your point about Zionists losing their minds over this race, there are a couple people on here who could benefit from a trusted friend sitting down with them and asking them how they're doing. The fact this never happened certainly makes me assume things about their life offline. Either way, get this woman in front of a therapist ASAP. This is not a mentally healthy perspective. No, not Magdi Jacobs. She's my favorite. Out of all the Hasbara operatives, Magdi Jacobs obviously is my favorite, as you guys know. She says, Al-Sayed has about a day and a half to get his supporters under control. They're engaging in online harassment, shutting down their opponents' campaign events, spreading misinfo in a voter suppression attempt. If Abdul Al-Sayed wins, this will no longer be about just the Senate majority. Every time Magdi Jacobs says something, I'm like, who is she talking? Well, like, what is she saying? Who's she talking about? What is she talking about? It's always about like her own personal like issues that are going on in her life. It's awesome. Like everything is like every single candidate that she has opposed, that simply also opposed Israel, by the way, always reminds her of her ex-husband or ex-boyfriends. It's like she always says this. It was Walter Masterson. I like that she's positioning herself to be a barrage of attacks against Abdul Al-Sayed and the general. But obviously, if they had any kind of motion, then they would have been able to thwart Abdul's attempts early on in the primaries, right? Anyway, speaking of which, 8 years ago, could you imagine back then where you would be today? Reminder that everyone has to start somewhere. Hassan the Hun in 2018.
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing today? Hopefully there is no audio delay right now.
There is audio
in the future,
delay.
we're not going to have any of these issues, especially because the boy is about to get a PC. That's the kind of dedication you get from me, Hassan Piker, the man of the people. That's the kind of dedication I have to streaming and never stopping posting for the rest of my life till the moment I goddamn die. I will never, ever stop posting. And what's the best form of posting, you might ask? Well, the best form of posting.
Yes, I was streaming on a MacBook, dude. That's the only laptop I had for the longest time. I was streaming from the Fab Top.
Streaming live every night for 4 hours. That's the best kind of posting because it compromises you in a very meaningful way. You know, you're ultimately you're naked in front of 200 people every night as you kind of decide, what topic should I talk about today? I don't know. Let's just reach out to the people and talk to them. That's basically how it goes. But in any case,
motherfucker, that is literally almost a decade ago. And my speech patterns haven't even
Hi,
changed.
I'm Jory, and I'm here with
Abdul Al-Sayed, running for U.S. Senate.
You've been described as similar to Mamdani in terms of your politics, but I have a few different questions for you. Haley Stevens said, Israel comes to me in my dreams. What comes to you in yours?
The hope that Michiganders have health care, the hope that we can all breathe clean air, drink clean water. And I got to be honest with you, I'm haunted by a lot of the things that our tax dollars have paid for in that part of the world. So those are the things in my dreams.
My last question for you is, I've seen numbers floating around about how much you're able to bench. Some people saying that you can bench more than Hassan Piker. Can you settle the score?
Yes, he can. It's true. He can. He chess mogs me every day of the week. It's kind of messed up. That's crazy. Look at him smiling. That's fucked up. Why are you laughing, bro? Why are you laughing? I thought we were supposed to be home. You're supposed to be like, oh, no. Look at him smiling. Look at him cheesing.
And let us know how much you can bench.
355 on a good day, but definitely more than Hassan. He's
Thank
just
you
got
so
real
much.
long arms. You know what I mean? Like a matter of short.
No, he's right. He's right. Oh my God, I got ops everywhere, bro. Zero Sonic is one of your best chatters. Wait, why? Not the hanky? 2024. What is this? What the fuck? Laughing at you, Unc. I mean, he should. It's right. He has every right to, because he does. Yeah, I got to get my titty game up. That's who followed you on the clip? Oh, damn. Been there since I had like 200.
There is a delay? Oh, of course there's a delay.
Lurker, no drama. Anyway, Fox News. El Sayed pals around with far-left Twitch streamer Hassan Piker the day before crucial Michigan election. Michigan Democratic Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed have spent the night before Election Day at a pool party with far-left streamer Hassan Piker, sparking pushback from both his primary opponent and his Republican opposition. The event was hosted by a content creator in Detroit, Michigan, also attended by Progressive House candidates Maylai Kuros and Chris Rabb, both members of the Democratic Socialists of America. Michigan Democratic State Rep Donovan McKinney was also reportedly in attendance. Piker, who has roughly 10 million followers. I love that they always say that. Anyway, they got not one, not two, not three, but four different reporters on this article on the Maoist pool party beat at Fox News. Okay? What the fuck is happening? Bro, they got too much money. Maybe we have to defund journalism. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Yeah. Brother, 4 reporters. Anyway, between two last month, Piker drew backlash after resisting a group of college students while wearing an outfit resembling that of former communist dictator Mao Zedong. I never would and never will criticize Mao Zedong, Piker said earlier this year in a clip that recently resurfaced on social media. Piker has also said in the past that America deserved 9/11 and has made controversial comments about Hamas. And the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They don't even put the controversial comments anymore. They just say it. They literally don't even mention what it is. It's just established fact. Doesn't even need a hyperlink. Okay, that's crazy. While El Sayed and said he doesn't agree with all of Piker's positions. He's faced backlash for not distancing himself from the controversial streamer. No, he hasn't. Democratic Rep. Haley Stevens, running against El Sayed on Tuesday night's Senate primary, was asked about the relationship between El Sayed and Piker in a press gaggle hours before polls closed. I don't believe Mr. Piker lives here in our state. I do think his rhetoric should be denounced. I do think that my opponent should distance himself from him. I don't know what they were doing last night at this pool party that was going on. Why is she making it seem like we were up to no good at the pool party? What the fuck? At this pool party that was going on, but I was with Congresswoman Hillary Skolton and Debbie Stabenow. Oh my God. Every time she has to bring up someone who endorsed her. Every time. Every motherfucking damn time, bro. That is wild to me. Anyway. Referring to Piker, Stevens said, some of this stuff just makes people uncomfortable. Frankly, it makes me uncomfortable. You know, we don't need these demagogues or people citing allegiance to Mao coming into Michigan, which is crazy. He's like, the borders of Michigan are closed to people whose political opinion I misunderstand and don't like. Is awesome. And pointing to El Sayed, Stevens added, maybe instead of being with Mr. Piker, you know, if he ends up winning the nomination, maybe he'll come with me and hear from some of the small businesses who don't want these extreme politics coming into our state. Instead of spending his final hours campaigning with Michiganders, Abdul El-Sayed spent it poolside with an anti-Semite and terrorist sympathizer who believes America deserved 9/11. NRSC Regional Press Secretary Samantha Cantrell told Fox News Digital in a statement. The campaign of the presumptive GOP nominee Mike Rogers also weighed in as voters head to the polls. We're getting ready to prosecute the case against Abdul, but it looks like he's already giving us a head start. This is giving fraud, not serious. And Michiganders are battling serious issues they need a senator to deal with, not someone who dances around LA and New York City influencers who thinks America deserved 9/11. Hours before the pool party, Piker was at a campaign event with El Sayed where a reporter asked him if he plans to campaign with the progressive Senate candidate after Tuesday night's primary. Are you crazy? Piker responded, of course. Fox News Digital has reached out to El Sayed's campaign and Piker's team for comment. El Sayed is set to square off against Stevens. By the way, I didn't even know that was a CBS reporter. I thought it was a random fan with a phone camera out. And they were like, "Oh, are you gonna come back in the general?" I was like, "Yeah." Are you kidding me? Of course. I like that they're positioning this as like, "Oh, in the general, Abdul is gonna distance himself," which he might. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows where the environment takes us? Okay. But the reality of the matter is, I'm a servant of this movement. Okay? I don't give a shit. Campaigns sometimes might make decisions that I'm at odds with, okay? But ultimately, I want them to win. And I don't only want them to win, I want them to win and deliver for the people, okay? This is what a lot of people don't realize. Tell the moms if Abdul wins, you're coming back with a tank top on. Yes. I think they're going to force him to distance himself if he wants establishment support. They're terrified. Yeah, I think the biggest problem here is like, not necessarily like the frustration that I create amongst the Michiganders, like the voting population, but more so the audiences that I deliver are great. Like the excitement that I deliver for the base is great, especially in the primary. But obviously you need DSCC support, right? And I can totally see the DSCC being like, we will not back you if you're with that scary anti-Semite. Because like at this point, and it has nothing to do with the electability arguments, but at this point, it's very clear that I have unfortunately developed far too much animosity and resentment, not from the voters. The voters don't give a shit overall, but I've developed far too much animosity from the party bosses, who see me as a weapon that the insurgent left wields that threatens their center of power. And they will do everything to defang this movement. And of course, one of the aspects of this movement is obviously its propaganda apparatus. And I happen to be at the forefront of the propaganda apparatus. They won't do the same thing for like Majority Report or Breaking Points or Drop Site or Zateo, but they will consistently try to like take out one of the modes of communication, because they have this weird belief that like I gain more legitimacy amongst the masses when I appear next to candidates, not realizing that my position on this has been clear from the start. I don't really gain much. Like, I straight up do not. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say this. The only thing that has happened to me since Zoran has been all of these fucking campaigns, or not all these fucking campaigns, sorry, all of these media outlets that used to write these puff pieces. They used to talk about how, like, you know, I was the bro guy that was the Joe Rogan of the left. Every single one of them have turned on me. And it wasn't just Zoran. I think the Zoran victory initially was a wake-up call for some, but it eventually turned into hit piece after hit piece. CNN, CBS, even New York Times to a certain degree. They're not as aggressive, I've noticed. But like all of these other mainstream outlets, since I started taking a more hands-on approach with these campaigns, have totally changed their outlook, like their style guides on how they refer to me. Back in the day, it was just, you know, Twitch streamer, podcaster Hassan Piker. Now it's turned into controversial streamer Hassan Piker. And that's the favorable coverage usually. If it's not controversial streamer Hassan Piker, it's usually anti-Semitic podcaster or streamer Hassan Piker. Not an accident. So the only thing that me campaigning with candidates have brought to me personally is just a shit ton of enmity, a shit ton of animosity, a shit ton of attacks, especially at a time when, like, obviously I need to gain support from liberals in general, and like liberal outlets need to, you know, stand in opposition to the Trump administration's actions, because the Trump administration has not made it a secret that they are interested in prosecuting people like myself.
Damn, this guy's good.